They say that everything is bigger in Texas, and well, tonight, so are the stakes. With just 2 rounds before the playoffs beginning, drivers are running out of chances to secure their final playoff spot over the next couple rounds. We got today and Talladega next week, so it's running out on a chance of major opportunities. Will we see an 8 different driver win tonight, or will an existing winner this season pad out their win total? Well, we will definitely find out here as we are here at Texas Motor Speedway here for this penultimate round of the area season for the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series. My name is Finny Kuna here with Connor Horn and Hunter Sleppy. And gentlemen, I'm going to be joining you for a couple weeks here. We were at Rockingham last week. Fantastic race there. Fairly green race over there. Now we head to Texas, and like I said, the stakes, the chances, they're ramping up for these drivers, and things might get chaotic tonight.
It very well could be chaotic, especially with how weird of a race this is. We shouldn't even be racing tonight, but the DDoS attacks iRacing suffered through. So we had to suffer. Didn't have Daytona until a week after, so that's the reason we're here for the Pro Series today. Number of months late to Texas Motor Speedway, a track probably no one in the series has ran in a while, whether official or not. Track temps are going to be high. It's going to be a very slick track, and it's going to be tough to make passes and get through the field, so qualifying is going to be important, especially for those drivers in the playoff cut line battle. Guys like Alex Bella, Matthew Bella right on the cut line, Greg Mitchell, John Furness, Weishart, Nichols, all close to the cut line, but there's so many more drivers who could threaten to win and punch their ticket into the playoffs tonight, like a John Furness or a Zach Nichols, who are at the top of the practice sheet.
Or even a Colin Fambrough sitting 20th in the standings. Top 20 threshold got to be very crucial, because those that have a win and still inside the top 20 in points, that pretty much secures your spot in. So if you're on the outside looking in, basically you do need a win, but you also need to stay inside the top 20 in points. But Fambrough hovering around 20th. Garrett Grant's nearing 20th. He's 21st in the standings. And you mentioned Zach Nichols on the bubble of the playoffs. He missed last week at Rockingham, so not going to be fun for him tonight, or should be. He's atop the board in practice speeds, but can't have any mistakes, because you don't want to rely on Talladega being your last chance to secure a spot in the playoffs for you, otherwise you're going to be in a pickle.
Definitely are, and we'll see who's going to be the drivers in that pickle as we get underway here. Practice just wrapping up here, and this man is currently on the top of the timing sheets, and that's John Furness in the number 28 machine. Just a couple thousandths of a second ahead of Zach Nichols in the 44. We mentioned the 44 he missed last week, so for him, even more added pressure for tonight. He's kind of sitting in the pits waiting for qualifying to get underway.
Yeah, qualifying is going to be a big part. If you could get the pole, it's an extra bonus point. Who knows how tight the points could be at the end of the regular season next week at Talladega. So that point could matter for someone who's going to threaten for the pole. Philip Groner, he's not in a points fight. He's in a regular season title fight. But if he doesn't gain enough on Jake Nichols this week, that might be wrapped up for Nichols to get that extra 30-point buffer for the playoffs. But Groner has been fast all season. He's kind of leveled off near the end of the regular season after 2 wins in the first 3 weeks, but he's 8th on the timing sheet right now, right behind Nichols and his teammate Miller in the top 10 as practice comes to an end. So there's a lot of drivers who could threaten to get another win this season compared to those drivers who are trying to get that ticket punched to the playoffs.
Indeed, as we're going to head into qualifying, but one of the guys that's really going to be fighting is David Weishart in the 33. He's got an EOL, so really not going to matter where he qualifies in this session, and had one get away from him last week at Rockingham, really on the first opening laps of the race. He qualified up front, started third, does good in qualifying, but somehow, some way during the race, things change, and he was caught up in some tomfoolery that wasn't his own doing, and finished 28th on top of that EOL. So Finian, he's going to have a struggle here, not only in qualifying, but having to come from the back to the front. However, we still have some guys that are looking for their first pole of the season.
Yeah, we'll see how that's going to play out in just a short time. And a slow trickle of drivers out onto the racetrack. You know, usually see, 10, 15 drivers immediately get out there and set a lap time down. Of course, it's only one lap time for these drivers, so some of them taking their time, but only about 5 or 6 drivers out on the track at the moment. Garrett Grant, the leading one of them, in the number 5. And with that, we'll ride on board with the number 5 as he starts his flying lap.
Starts his flying lap, makes his 96th Pro Series start tonight, and trying to start near the top 5 for sure, trying to stay in that title fight, or at least get into the title fight a little bit more, since he's not top 20 in the points, so needs to have a good race plus a win to get in, as he had a really solid 1 and 2, 3 and 4 can't really vary much. You're going to get very sideways. There's a bump there that'll catch you if you're too far sideways over it, but you're really going to be trying to paint that white line on the short run through 3 and 4, which is what he did. First time on the board is a 30.9, which is pretty much 30.88 actually, which is almost exactly what he ran in practice.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting seeing what these guys run. We've only been here a couple of times, and that was earlier in the season with the Cup Series and the. Did Truck go here?
Yes.
Okay, so the Cup and the Truck Series went here, but Pro Series did not, as they were supposed to for the second race of the season. Instead, it's the second to last race of the regular season before the playoffs. So Travis Beckner going to have to get dialed in here. He's got 3 wins to his name and was able to get a finish where he wasn't outside the top 10 in wrecking. So he got 12th last week at The Rock and 3rd the week prior at Chicagoland. So Travis Beckner looking to build momentum as he comes across the stripe, looking to get pole, and he will be for the moment.
I saw a lap time for Beckner as I saw him hacking at the wheel in turns 3 and 4, and it looks like it's going to pay off for the moment. Still early to call it. Zach Nichols is on a flying lap in the 44 machine. John Furness, he just comes flying across the line. He's going to be the current pole sitter, going to push down Beckner to second place. Travis Beckner, he's getting out on a flying lap. We'll come back to Zach Nichols, who should be working through 3 and 4. And does the 44 have enough to get a good qualifying effort in?
Yeah, he's coming across the line now. Matthew Bell's going to be right behind him. 2 drivers that are kind of going to be fighting for these last spots here. Nichols across the line, 30.565. Easily 582, excuse me, easily provisional pole over the 28 of John Furness. Matthew Bell only went 6, but that is pretty much what he ran in practice. Furness couldn't really match what he ran in practice, so a big lap for the 44 as Alex Bell, another driver barely on the cut line, 7 points to the good, is also going to try to get a good starting position. He's already seen 1 big time laid down by the 44. He's going to have to try to match it.
Yeah, that's huge for the 44. I mentioned he lost a lot of spots, 9 spots last week after missing Rockingham. His last start at Chicagoland, he ironically started on the pole. Looking to keep that as Alex Bell. Not going to be a pole time, but going to be a solid time nonetheless. Just a spot shy of that pole, but by a wide margin compared to Zach Nichols' time.
Solid job for Alex Bell, the number 15. Looking at Jake Nichols in the 73, one of the next drivers to come across the start-finish line. Let's see the 73, what he can do. Braxton DeWeese goes up to 12th. So Matt Kemp in 51 up to 5th. Jake Nichols, where does he end up? Solid time, 30.611. I think I should put him 2nd place, and it'll push Alex Bell back to 3rd. Indeed, he will. Solid job there. Jeff Wright out on a flying lap. He's coming out of turn 4 across the line for the number 48 machine, 30.721. Could put him in 8th place. And Logan Clampin in the 90, he's also coming to the start-finish line.
And making another start this season, trying to get another win. He won back at Darlington. He runs a 30.748, so going to be a little further down the order than he wants, down in 13th, but he basically did not practice at all. He literally just joined, as James Scioli, always a threat at the mile and a half, clocks into the 7th position, and those are going to be the last 2 drivers, I believe, to put times down. No one else on the racetrack, so Clampett's going to grace us with his presence, as I think he's in his college paint scheme. That's why we saw the 44 on the side, so qualifying will end, and Zach Nichols gets a crucial pole position.
Well, about that, he still has an EOL, so he will get...
Oh, really?
I mean, he'll get credited with the pole, but he won't start from there.
He does get the bonus point.
I was going to say, you get the bonus point, so it wasn't completely worthless.
No, but with his point situation, he needs to have a mistake-free race if he wants to have a shot at making the playoffs. I mean, he could just win and eliminate all that stress heading into Talladega, but... You're going to have to start from the rear anyway.
All right, well, as we go into the warm-up session, we want to thank the Area iRacing Twitch channel. Race fans, be sure to subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel. As a subscriber, you'll have Area iRacing emotes to use in the chat and earn double channel points that you can use to redeem for free merchandise for just $5 a month. Join today. And also want to thank our starting grid sponsor, Central Mobile Homes. Looking for a smaller or large home, a new shed, or a Triple Crown trailer? Look no further than Central Mobile Homes. They've been proudly serving Florida customers for 28 years with a plethora of small and large floor home plans, shed designs, and Triple Crown trailers available in LaBelle, Okeechobee, Clewiston, and Sebring. Head to centralmobilehomeinc.com to get started today. As drivers get warmed up and ready to go, try to look and see again about our point situation heading into tonight. Of course, we had quite a few different winners in this series. Six of the 7 winners are locked in. Logan Clampett will win to his name, but ineligible for the playoffs. So 6 spots locked in, another 6 left up for grabs. Looking at the list, I think Braxton DeWeese, I want to say he's good in the 00 machine. In the 00 and the 14.
DeWeese should be neither. I'm not even sure if he's here tonight. Yes, he is. He's a 13.
Oh, he's in the 13.
DeWeese
There we go. So he's good. He's locked in pretty much on points. He's 71 points to the good. Shane Terrian almost want to throw him in there at 40 points. Pretty much good as long as he doesn't have anything catastrophic occur to him. Actually, is Shane Terrian in this race? He is. There he is.
The number 9, yes.
You do see him. So he's good. He's just as long as he starts and finishes well. Everyone else kind of for grabs. Connor Kresick, John Furness, Greg Mitchell, and Greg Mitchell and Alex Bell are close to the cut line.
If DeWeese has a top 10 run, it's almost certain that he might be locked in for Talladega. Not have to worry. Therian, he probably needs a very good run, a top 5 to lock his way in on points. We'll have to wait and see, but like you said, no one else is really safe. Even the guys Scioli, Beckner, Jeff Wright. Scioli's much more safe to the 20th place cut line, but Beckner and Jeff Wright are only 36 points and 41 points above that top 20 cut line, so they need a good night here to kind of solidify themselves in this top 20, so they don't even have to worry about Talladega as much as other drivers would. Alex Bell, Matthew Bell, David Weishart, Zach Nichols, they really have to worry about tonight and make sure they get a good finish.
Yeah, it's going to be very crucial how they get through Texas because that pretty much shapes up your outlook for Talladega. If you need to push an envelope early, get all the points possible, whether that's clean lap, clean car throughout the whole race, or fastest lap, bonus point for getting the pole as well. It's very complex with how your strategy is going to be depending on how you get through today at Texas. And like I mentioned, we haven't been here before in the Pro Series or in any series heading into Season 6 of Area, so a lot of unknowns for some of these guys, like Brody Falker in the 42, at least on the area side of things, the same as Travis Beckner, but looking through, Scioli is in the lobby. Did he put down a lap in qualifying?
I believe he did. He was one of the last few guys across the line. I can't check at the moment what his qualifying time is. Yes, I remember he did okay.
Okay. I was going to say he's done pretty well in these 1.5 miles. Looking at it, he's got 10 wins. That's the most out of anyone. The same with top 5s. He's got 13 of those. And he's got the most laps led on these 1.5 miles. So he knows a thing or two about leading, winning, and finishing well at these 1.5 mile races. But the highest average finish, that goes to Travis Beckner. He's got an average finish of 9th here, and he's going to have to fight his way through and make sure he has a clean car so he doesn't put himself in the jeopardizing situation.
It's all about making sure you make it to the finish line because, again, you really, really cannot stress this enough. You really don't want to have to bet on having a good race at Talladega to make sure you make it on through. There are just way too many variables at play. So as we transfer over to the race here, let's get through your Central Mobile Homes starting lineup. And starting on pole, it's going to be Zach Nichols in the 44. Of course, he's got the EOL, though, so he's got to go to the back. And Jake Nichols joining him in second place in the 73 lined up.
And then third position right behind them is going to be the 15 of Alex Bell, who will assume inside of the front row for this initial start. He'll start third, and then Philip Groner in the 11 will start in the fourth position.
Moving on back to fifth place, it's going to be John Furness in the number 28 machine. Next to Matt Kemp, a solid effort for him in the 51. He's going to be rolling off in sixth.
Seventh position goes to the James Scioli machine, who had to restart his computer. That's why he wasn't in the session initially. He starts seventh. Travis Beckner will start in the 8th position.
Hopefully he doesn't have any more technical difficulties, especially like what I had last week. Jeff Wright in the ninth place position is going to be rolling off in the 48 car. Next to him, Zach Carr lined up in the 97. He's going to be rolling off in 10th.
And then right outside the top 10, the 11th position goes to the 18 of Colin Farnborough. He will start alongside the 87 of Blaze McKinney, who has to go to the rear of the field.
Moving on back to 13th place, it's going to be Logan Clampett in the number 90. Next to Matthew Bell, lined up in the 43. He's going to be rolling off in 14th.
15th position, the 2 of Greg Mitchell, who comes in tonight 7 points above that playoff cut line. He starts alongside someone 71 points above the playoff cut line. It's been a great season for Braxton DeWeese, but he starts a little further back in 16th tonight.
Moving back to 17th, it's going to be Jeremy Miller in the number 30. Next to him, it's going to be Alex Weaver in the 29 car, rolling off in 18th.
19th position, Connor O'Kresick in the 14 car, also in a tight cut line battle. He starts alongside Shane Abbey, who has an EOL penalty.
And moving on back behind them, 21st, Brody Folliker lined up in the 42 machine. Next to him, it's going to be Casey Vacatis in the 50 car. He's rolling off 22nd.
See what Vacatis does. He has a fuel win here in a prior league. Garrett Grant will start in the 23rd position. He'll be alongside the 98 of Rafe Slate in a Toyota Supra. He has an EOL as well.
And moving on back to 25th, it's going to be Justin Munsell in the number 6. He's lined up next to Bryce Senezak in the 09, rolling off in 26th.
27th position, the 9 of Shane Therian, who's pretty good on the cut line, but not a good starting position in 27th. He'll be alongside Alex Bryson in 28th.
Moving back 29th, it's Cedric Hunter lined up in the 70 car. Next to him, David Weishart lined up in the 33 car in 30th.
31st position, the 64 of Ed Robertson, and then 32nd position will be Justin Anasogak in the 88, who has to go to the rear of the field.
And moving on back, our final car rolling off the grid is going to be Bronson Stafford in 33rd in the 61 machine. That's going to round out your Central Mobile Home starting lineup for the race. 33 cars rolling off. And the grid getting sorted. I imagine we're going to be going through 2 pace laps here, as there is Zach Nichols, the pole sitter. He'll get the point. Fortunately, won't be able to keep the position. He'll be having to go through the back of the field, and that means he's got a lot of work to do, Hunter.
Yeah, he'll have to start from the back and fight through the field, and knowing what they know about Texas, which isn't too much, for at least for some guys in the service, but going to be interesting having to fight through dirty air, get through traffic. I almost feel like that somewhat benefits him. We knew he had a fast car to begin with in practice, and then he puts up the best time for the pole. So it'll be interesting seeing how his car handles through the traffic, like you mentioned. 3 wide, 2 wide, dirty air. He could go bottom. Could try to go outside, but really you want to go on the bottom, especially through 1 and 2. Although I feel like at some point, Connor, we might see some guys start to tread up towards the outside groove or the second lane throughout that part of the track. But all in all, should be an interesting night.
Definitely going to be interesting, and I am interested to see how the groove moves. We saw when the Cup and the Truck Series went here as scheduled way earlier in the season, week number 2. That groove did move up as the race went on. Usually during the long run, you saw more and more drivers run up there. Even when the truck race was kind of set in a day-night transition, that high line still became a preferred line, especially in turns number 1 and 2, but it worked in 3 and 4 as well. So I think at the start you'll still want to be on that white line, just being conservative, but I think I'd be interested to see if that groove moves up once again. I would personally be expecting it, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Well, before we go green in about half a lap, why don't we talk about who we think is going to win this race? Hunter, let you go first.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's so kind of you. Even though he's starting in the back, I'm going to go with the guys for up front, actually, the 73 of Jake Nichols.
73 Nichols. Connor, what about you?
I'm going with the 7 of Scioli. He has at least, I think, to my count, he has like 7 wins at 1.5 miles, so I think he gets, I think, unofficially number 8 tonight. I'm going with the 7.
Well, I'm going to go with the underdog pick because I don't have any points in the line for this series, so I'm going to go with Zach Nichols in the 44. I think he's going to be coming back through the field and win this thing. Well, we'll have to see what he does. 130 laps on the board for tonight. Alex Bell will be leading them down to green, and off they go. We are green here at Texas. Out of turn 4 and across the line, it's still a dead heat between the 15 and the 73 of Nichols. They're not willing to lend way to either one. As 73 of Nichols working around the outside, pinching the 15 to the bottom, trying to use that run off the outside of the corner to take the lead away.
You can see there's just not that much grip up there quite yet. He's not able to get that run off the corner that we would be accustomed to seeing. So really his only choice is to pinch the 15 down a little bit, but he gave the 15 a lot more room there. He's going to come down on his door on the exit of the corner, just hanging onto the right rear quarter panel. I think Bell's going to lead this lap as Nichols struggling to get the grip out of the corner that he needs.
Indeed, Bell led that lap, and Nichols looking to finally settle in behind the 15 as Furness is closing in. He's already up a couple of spots since the green flag, and Look at the 73, make the move to the inside, try to get around the 15 of Bell into 3.
Just when I thought the battle was done, it's not over yet. Nichols with the dive, he'll get it done. Catch Alex Bell sleeping. Bell will be back in second. Nichols up to first. It's a quick exchange of the lead. Oh, as Travis Beckner in the background catches a piece of the wall. That's not going to be good for the 27's night so far.
And he'll be hoping a composite body saves him. I don't see damage on the 27, but any hit like that, it's going to kind of build on. The damage is going to build the more he hits it, and the closer that wall he gets, as Logan Clampett's going to try to battle him for what is now, I believe, the 7th position. Skyoli just got the nose under John Furness up ahead. That's the first side-by-side battle for 3rd, but that battle for the lead as Furness really pinched Skyoli. It's going to cause a stack up. The 15 got really loose out of 2 once he got the lead from the 73. That's how Jake Nichols was able to get back by.
Close call there between the 28 of Furness and the 7 of Skyoli, as Skyoli's trying to stop the bleeding, fighting with Beckner for the 5th spot, trying to maintain that. Meanwhile, Jeff Wright behind him, looking to give him some momentum down the front stretch, or back stretch, I should say, and try to get him good for the front stretch, as that is Logan Clampett. Welcome to the party, Logan, and you got a battle side by side right in front of you. Make sure you don't run into him.
Yeah, seeing what Logan Clampett can do in the official scoring number 90 car. Of course, got the 44 number with his NASCAR college mate scheme. Looking in behind, Jeff Wright in the 48 machine. He's got Zach Cart to his bottom in the 97. He's trying to make some inroads here, as a decent amount of the field is mostly single file. A couple side-by-side battles here and there as drivers trying to get into a little bit of a longer run. Jeff Wright going to try to rock around the 97. He will get the job done. We'll look a little bit further back. Here's another battle brewing. Alex Weaver to the inside of Braxton DeWeese, one of the drivers in the 13. We said just needs to have a good night.
Yeah, and so far he's done a decent job kind of staying put. He's up a few positions, really pinching the 29's right side door, and doing a good job doing so, because that's kind of what enables him to get that run on the 2 of Greg Mitchell. If he's able to pinch the exit off and get that straight exit out of the corner, it lets him get that run off of the corner, as he's going to try to do the same thing out of turn 4. Him and Greg Mitchell made a little bit of netcode contact there. I think that was just iRacing being iRacing. They got away with it. DeWeese gets another spot, but he's definitely been one of the surprise bright spots of the season. We've talked about it all season long, Hunter, but I can't say enough how well his consistency's been. I think last week was his worst finish of the season, and that was 14th position, so it says a lot about how his season's gone.
Yeah, very, very consistent, and looking through, and that's a Colin Fambro trying to get around the 43 of Matthew Bell, but Bell's working that outside lane in. Not scraping the wall there, but going to need to have a solid run. He's on the outside looking in at the moment by about 7 points, and side by side in front of him, Jeff Wright on the outside of Zachary Carr, fighting for 8th.
Yeah, just ahead of them, Beckner and Philip Groner doing side-by-side battle. Travis Beckner got a small piece of the wall earlier on, is starting to make some inroads now back forward. So it looks like that damage is not really doing anything to him. Trying to get around Groner and secure that spot. He will indeed secure 4th place, up 4 from where he started back in 8th. So a decent climb forward. One of the biggest movers of the race so far, second to Logan Clampett. And even Beckner looking at one more spot, potentially to the inside of John Furness in the 28.
And he's able to make both lanes work so far. Philip Groner, lap number 8, really blocked the inside off for Beckner, and instead he just went to the high side and got it done in turns 1 and 2. So both lanes already being used for passing. He's looking low, but made most of his passes high. We've seen DeWeese make a pass high, and we've seen pretty solid side-by-side action throughout the field already. Case Lakatos, Weaver, Miller, Greg Mitchell all battling near about the top 15 positions. Miller took a very late look to the inside of Weaver, but nothing doing. It is going to be a frantic fight for that inside line early on. As you can see, everyone's kind of trying to paint it, but you do have some drivers trying to deviate a little bit, trying to see what that higher line's all about. But as we saw earlier in the season, as Mitchell really sent into the corner, we can even extend this groove a lot more, which we'll have to see if we get to that point. As here goes a 7, he gets 5th. Groner's starting to fall back. This is going to be for 6th that Clampett's going to get.
Yeah, Clampett, one of the biggest movers of the race so far. That's the 7th position he's gained since the start of this race. The only other driver who's been able to accomplish that feat, well, there's actually a few, but the next closest up is Casey Lacoste, and he's up to 14th since the start of this race. But that 90 of Logan Clampett starting to work his way slowly but surely towards that top 5. The only one in front of him keeping him from doing that is the 7 of Skyoli.
riding until in behind the 7, was making a run. Looks going to back off a little bit, cool the jets, and wound up another attack. Let's see if he can get up to 6th. We talked about Casey Licata's making some way through the field. Oh, we were looking at him just a little bit before. He's currently up to 14th, plus 8 for him. Connor Kresick also on a slight move forward in behind him. Actually might make a pass on him relatively soon. He's all over the back of the 50 in the 14 car. And let's take a look and see where Zach Nichols and how he's doing. He's just to the inside of Brody Folliker right now. So starting from near the back, he's up to 23rd on his climb forward.
And it's a pretty good climb forward. It's not on the stat sheet, it won't count as one of the bigger movers, but he has been one of the bigger movers, starting near the rear of the field and up almost close to a battle for the top 20. So doing a good job cleanly getting through traffic so far, as majority of the field starting to get even more single file out. The entire field separated by about under 7 seconds from Jake Nichols to 33rd place Justin Anasogak, as there's a few battles back there. Blaze McKinney has not made that much progress. He's still on 27th, trying to get by Garrett Brandt. He actually tapped the 5 a little bit when I went to look at that battle. And looks like Lakatos is still making moves. He's trying to get around the blinking car of Matt Kemp, who he blinked on the initial start. His internet's still struggling, but still in the fight.
As there's Kemp in the 51. Lakatos in the 50, not too far back. Thought about sending it in, but just going to run his line. And something interesting that I'm noticing, these guys getting as close to the apron as they can. Don't want to clip that apron too much, otherwise it's going to upset the car. It's 24 degrees through 3 and 4, 20 through turn 1 and 2. Don't want to clip that apron. It's a little more forgiving if you're in 1 and 2, just because there's not as much banking there. But 3 and 4, clip that transition banking from the apron to the racetrack, and it's going to get your car squirrely. Don't want to do that in the middle of the field. And here's the 09 at Senesec. We're looking at the rear. Look at it. He's up 7 spots since the start of this race. One of the biggest movers so far, just methodically working his way through the field.
Yeah, we're looking at these two battle it out. Those drivers carrying cameras for us tonight. Looking in the back, saw Zach Nichols trying to make another move on Rafe Slate in the 98. Couldn't really do anything with it. And up ahead, I thought I saw a flash of green and red. That usually means an exchange for position. It might be between Bell and Furnace, as Furnace is all over the back of that 15 now.
Yeah, I saw last lap the 28 went high in 3 and 4, at least the middle in 3 and 4 to get a run, but Bell kind of blocked it off out of the exit. But this time he just gets a better run on the bottom than the 15 did. So Alex Bell's tires starting to maybe fade a little bit here, but it's still going to be a tough pass around the inside because Bell just pinched the 28 off, and they'll come very close to contact out of turn 2. So it takes at least a lap usually to make this pass work, and usually it will take longer. We'll see if Furnace can make quicker work of the 15, as Alex Bell's not giving him anything. They're going to go over that bump right there. Just can't get enough drive off when he's inside the 15. So that just shows how tough it's going to be to pass as this run goes longer.
Uh-oh.
He's blinking in and out. That's something you do not want to see.
I was going to say, he was gone for quite a while. Him and Braxton DeWeese were gone for almost identical amount of time. So our kind of dropped there, because you're usually not back in a couple seconds. You're usually out of the server, and you have to rejoin back in. And like I kind of joked earlier, though, essentially what happened to me last week at Rockingham, I had to do a little bit of a radio-style broadcast, because iRacing is really stubborn of letting you back into the server. So looks like he's back in for now, but it's always one of those things that's just in the back of your mind. You never know when you're in it's going to go kaput. You know, we saw Ryan Hartz effectively almost cost him a championship. Was it Ryan Hartz or Jake Matheson? I think it was Jake Matheson, actually.
It did cost Jake. It cost Jake Matheson even a shot at the title in Cup last season. He didn't even get the race.
Flashed out in the final race. It was really unfortunate. And probably one of the best cars the entire season, and couldn't fight for the Cup because he flashed out in the race, and that was it. It was all on the line for that one.
Nah, and he didn't even get a chance, and hopefully he'll get a chance this season because he's looked strong in truck, which he did win the title and the Cup Series, obviously, once again, our most recent winner at Indianapolis on fuel mileage, as Jake Nichols has started to kind of fade a little bit. I don't know if this is Alex Bell changing his line, but last time by, the 15 was over a tenth faster than a 73, so that lead battle's come back in. And as I say that, Jake Nichols is the one who goes to the middle line, and he's actually kind of diamonding the corner a little bit, so he shuts the 15's air off, and that was a very good corner, and I don't think Alex Bell was ready for it because Furnace has a huge run for the second position.
Beckner, you saw on the back, he was working that third line through 3 and 4. Going to work on the bottom through 1 and 2 as Bell loses that second spot to the 28 of Furnace, who looks to get crossed over here, and the 15 is going to have a strong run to do so. Meanwhile, Beckner's just waiting in the wings, and interesting to see the 73 moving up, already 20 laps in on this run, Finian, and Beckner's even running borderline the 4th lane up there, if that's even possible at this sort of style of Texas Speedway.
But
run. Yeah,
massive run off the corner. I almost didn't even think you have enough to make a move, but the thing senses the 15's a little bit weak at the moment. Died to the inside for the 27 into turns 1 and 2, but again, that run off the corner, really hard to beat. Alex Bell's going to win out in that exchange, but that 27, he's there. He's ready to fight for third, second, and maybe even first, as he's going to rock it around the outside.
And he doesn't even lose that much time while running up there, but the run he gets is just incredible. He's going about 4 or 5 miles an hour faster than Alex Bell, and that time Bell didn't protect his right rear, so I think this should make it a much easier pass for Beckner, because now he's going to be able to pinch the 15 down to the bottom and get that run off of turn number 2. Really going to pinch the 15 off, and that will be the battle for third pretty much done, as Beckner's really been the first one to test that way higher line, and so far it's paying dividends big time, as I'm sure he's going to go right back to it. Even John Furnace kind of went up the track, but no one's going as high as the 27 is right now, except I believe Matthew Bell just tried it a little further back.
He's trying to get around Zach Carr for the 9th position, and he'll do just that. Sets his eyes on Philip Groner in the 11, and Bell needs a strong run. Doesn't want to put himself in too bad of a situation for Talladega, as Groner's going to run that second lane through 1 and 2, diamonds it through the center of the corner and get the good run on the corner exit.
Bell not really going to be up there at the moment, a little bit further back. Thought I saw Justin Munsell try to peek out a lane. A couple more drivers searching. I think they're seeing the other drivers up ahead starting to search more. We saw everyone pretty much glued to the bottom in 3 and 4, but I think the tire's wearing off. They're starting to search for some more grip, or at least in a point in the line where they can get a better run. Speaking of which, Jeremy Miller trying to build up a run to the outside of Bryce Senizak.
Miller has pretty much stayed put, him and Munsell battling it out once again. Bryce Senizak also has gotten by Miller. I think a few laps ago I saw the 09 get by the 30. He's going to swoop to the inside, trying to get back to the bottom, but that pass on the inside just so tough to make work. It's just kind of what we anticipated to see. We would see most people on the bottom for the first part of the run, but as the run went on, the track rubbered up, that higher line would come into play, and it seems like almost a majority of the field is starting to run a little bit of a higher line, an inch off that white line.
Yeah, Senizak's really been a big mover throughout the race as well, up 9 spots now. He's trying to stay in front of the 30 for the moment. He will. Casey Lacanis going to settle in line behind Connor Okresic, and the 14's up 5 spots since the start of this one. So slowly but surely he is starting to work his way on towards the front. Meanwhile, Philip Groner in the 11's got a mirror full at 43. Matthew Bell closing in, and Logan Clampett had a moment because he's down to quite a few positions.
I almost wondered, did he push the tires too early? You know, we typically see that, you know, comers and goers. You know, usually if you're really good at the beginning of the run, later on you're really going to start to feel the burn, and I think that's Clampett's situation right now. You saw him go almost up to 6th, I want to say 5th place, and now he's starting to drop back. Doesn't really have much rest for the rest of his competitors. I think he was hoping for an early caution that quite never came, as we're just shy of lap 30.
I think one thing that's kind of interesting here is that it's not that he's really slow. He's actually clutching in 1 and 2, so we haven't really noted any fuel strategy. I was pretty certain as we look at some contact between Weishart and McKinney. That was a big save from the 33, but more contact for him as he had to make 2 separate saves there. But the thing about Clampett, I was about to say he's falling back because he's just running the bottom line. That's not the case. I didn't think fuel would be an issue. We'd have 2 stops, no problem, but maybe Clampett's trying to cut a pit stop out, Hunter, because he is clutching and coasting at both ends of the racetrack right now.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if he clipped the apron or not and was just struggling to keep the car afloat, but yeah, looking like fuel saving is the way, at least for the 90 of Logan Clampett. He's already got a win under his belt this season, but he's not playoff eligible because he's missed a lot of races.
Oh, yeah, there
but
he goes.
He's just looking to grab victories any way that he can, even if it means saving fuel. Not sure what this is going to mean for the green flag run, Connor. I'm not sure what the fuel run is. I would assume we would split it into 2 stops, but he might be trying to do just in 1.
I mean, for him to be saving like this, I think almost certainly he's trying to make it on 1 stop, and we'll see if he can make this work to where he doesn't lose too much time saving, because it's a lot of saving on both ends of the run. My math says that you can probably only make it to lap 60 without saving. So lap 65 is halfway, and it's not really great math for Clampett. That means he has to save, at least to my math, 5 laps a run. And that seems really hard to do. That's if it goes green. That's not a guarantee, as the racing gets more hairy as we get later and later into this one. But that's definitely something to note. I don't see anyone else trying that right now. So it's kind of on his own little island here, trying to make this fuel number work.
See Connor Kresik in the 14, working ahead of
Matt Kemp in the 51.
Yeah.
He had a moment off, too.
be able to save it. And he's actually going to make another charge to the inside of Connor Kresik once more. Both of them battling up for 13th. They got Logan Clampett in fuel saving mode up ahead in his Chevy Camaro. You know, Chevy Camaro is known for their fuel mileage. But yeah, I'm interested in seeing on him trying to pull this off, because I feel like if you were going to try to save fuel, you really had to start doing it at the drop the green flag, because if you ideally cut this up into 3 equal parts, you're going to see drivers come in around lap 43, so in 10 laps time, and he's going to have to go to lap 65, and that is really, really pushing it, as you were talking about, Connor.
Yeah, like I said, that's like roughly 5 laps of saving per run. I just don't think that matches up, but we'll see if it plays out in his favor. You just never know. We've seen fuel strategy, tire strategy dictate some truck races and Pro Series races this season, as right now the battle for second is being dictated between John Furness and Travis Beckner. Beckner has caught Furness, but Furness has moved up the racetrack, taking the 27's line away, so Beckner's having to try some different things. He's going to go to the bottom of the racetrack and try to get the 28.
Oh,
that
contact.
And they almost made contact there, and Beckner's going to lose a lot of time there. The 48 just had a moment out of turn 4. Scioli's up into the top 5 for, I believe, the first time in the last 30 laps or so, but that's the problem with you have a line that's working. Once drivers see it working, they're going to take it away from you, and then you almost have nowhere else to go, and that's what Beckner's dealing with right now, and it's letting Jake Nichols get away. It's an 1/8 of a second lead.
Yeah, 73 is on cruise control right now, and just looking at the amount of different lines that we're seeing from Texas, I'm not sure if I even saw this remotely close from the Cup or even the trucks, as well as let alone real-life racing, with how much that's changed over time since this repave and reconfiguration in the sim. But so refreshing to see different lanes being utilized.
I can see a whole lot of lanes in 1 and 2, but even then, a couple drivers further on back trying to just go up there a little bit higher to search for some grip. And then really when you get into turns 3 and 4 is really where you see the big dichotomy. A lot of guys running up high, utilizing the extra banking in this turn, and a lot of other guys staying way down low. Not a huge amount of drivers in the middle. And we see Jeff Wright get a run on the outside of Philip Groner as Scally caught a piece of the wall. Wright trying to carry that momentum off into turn 1, but then this is really where you want to be near the inside of the track due to how flat it is.
Groner is one of the few trying to make it work on both ends of the track. He's going to slide up right in front of Jeff Wright, the 48. He's going to think about a crossover, chooses to get back in line and defend the 43 Matthew Bell, but Groner had to work really hard to get that move on the bottom done right, and all these drivers are still kind of stuck behind Alex Bell in 4th. He's running times a little bit off of the top drivers ahead of him, and you can see it's a pretty decent line of cars behind him, including Scioli, who's a touch faster right now. So track position is really important, as it always is, and it's going to be even more important for your pit entry, because for the drivers committing to a 2-stop, we're really close to the window at this point. Next 10 laps or so, I would think you start seeing drivers come down.
Indeed, as the 43 is just trying to diamond through that corner and try to get a run on the 48, but right there on corner exit, Wright shuts the door, and now Bell will look to the outside, see if there's anything there before going into turn 1. Meanwhile, the 44, Zach Nichols, continues to work his way from the back, serving at EOL. Almost 40 laps in, Finian, and the pole sitter has worked his way up towards the 16th position, trying to clear Casey Lakatos. Going to be tight on the backstretch.
He's going to be tight on the backstretch. Both of them still side by side. The 44 to the inside, 52 to the outside. Nichols with the dive, and it looks like he'll be able to secure it. I don't think Lagato's going to put up too much of a fight. And the next driver on this little group's radar with Greg Mitchell ahead is Logan Clampett, still in that fuel-saving mode. Drop back now to 14th, and still continuing to drop slightly down the order. Meanwhile, up ahead, see a flash of position change. Skyler trying to get the spot away from Alex Bell, and no dice as Bell gets the run off the corner. Here comes Philip Groner, 6th place in the number 11. He makes a die to the inside of the 7.
I was just looking at Clampett. He started saving on lap 24, so it's not like he's been saving this entire run. So that's going to be really interesting to note how he's doing, trying to cut a stop out of this race. As we go back to the live battle, Groner and the 7 of Scioli, 2 drivers who have been really, really good this year. Groner with a 1.5 mile victory at Charlotte in a photo finish. It looks like he has a pretty good long run pace, but giving up track position for long run pace, I don't know if it's really worth it with how tough these passes are looking right now. But he does look a touch better than the 7 of Scioli. And I think Scioli's really been hindered by Alex Bell on not being able to get by the 15 to where I think the 11's at this point is better. And the 11, sure enough, gets back by. But here comes the crossover from Scioli. Well, I saw Greg Mitchell pull off the pit. That's 42 laps in. So that's kind of in the window you would want to pit in doing a 2-stop, so he's the first one to crack. We'll see if he brings anyone else in, as that battle between Groner and Scioli got really tight out of turn number 2, but I think Groner's going to get it.
For the time being, he will, and it'll be interesting seeing these guys make green flag pit stops again. 24 degrees of banking through 3 and 4 to basically 0, and then trying to maintain pit speed. Don't want to overslide your pit box. The tires have been going through quite some changes over the last 40 laps of this run already, looking at about 1.5 to 2 seconds for some guys, and tires fall off.
Oh, no, excuse me. Munsell's got spun on pit road by the 42.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was trying to catch him coming down to pit lane because I saw that he had peeled off, but had some drama. Ooh, and that looks like there's just miscommunication coming on down. And actually, he got the hit. Well, so he got hit, and then he still managed to try to get it slowed down, but unfortunately, I'm not sure that extra speed he was trying to bleed off just couldn't slow down in time. Yeah, just try to slow it down.
Probably has a lot of rear brake in it to get around this track. This is a track that usually you have a tight setup for in the Pro Series car, so I wouldn't be surprised if he has a lot of rear brake in it. Tried getting on pit speed, had to use too much brake, and then spun because of that rear brake. I saw Bryce Senesac peel off, Garrett Granson as well, so the cycle is beginning at this point. No front runners in quite yet.
I think we're probably going to try to see them maybe go out a little bit longer, maybe do an overcut. We'll see, unless maybe these guys feel they can try to make it on one stop, and I doubt it, because if Logan Clampett's saving as much as he is, he's going to be probably the most able to make it on one stop compared to everyone else. So I guess everyone's just trying to do the overcut here, or just hope for caution to come out and not get caught out by it. That could also be on the tables.
Hey, we'll see. I just don't see a reason to overcut. Not this run, maybe the final run of the race, but I wouldn't think you want to do it right now as Groner gets the position from Alex Bell. That's for 4th. Here comes Matthew Bell and Jeff Wright at the same time. Jeff Wright trying to make a pass on pit entry, and he's almost successful. And Jeff Wright had a later pit box, so Bell's going to have to concede this spot. He took advantage. Jeff Wright took advantage of Matthew Bell there, as Matthew Bell actually has some right rear damage. I'm not sure when that happened. It might have been, they might have had contact right there and we just didn't see it, but 43 has some big damage, and that will hurt the performance big time. See who else comes in this time. I think that would probably start the flurry. Here we go.
There you go. It's all been set off here. The leader's starting to come on down now. John Furness, one of the higher running cars to come out this cycle, followed by Colin Fambro.
Woo, boys. Everyone's sliding on pit road. Ed Robertson's wrecking on pit road, the 64. I think him and Weishart had contact, as that's not going to be a yellow, but they both were drifting out of turn 4.
Did they have help from Weishart?
Yeah, they helped each other around. Weishart drifting it in, and Ed Robertson, not quite able to save it. Got a bit of the wall, but not a whole lot of damage. Could have been a whole lot worse for him. So
and I think
quite a few mishaps on pit road.
Was that Ben Pierce? Did he go in the wrong pit stall, or did he miss his pit box?
I think that was Braxton DeWeese, actually.
I think that was Braxton DeWeese. Yeah, he missed his box, so he's going to lose a lot of time. He had a pit road penalty at Rockingham last week that took him out of contention, kind of contributed to that worst finish of the season.
Oh,
and, he just missed his box completely.
I wasn't even looking at that. I was actually looking at Ben Pierce, that car that just went by the 13 in that last shot.
Maybe Alex Bryson.
Bryson.
Ben Pierce is not. Oh, there's another spin on pit entry. Rafe Slate just spun on the pit entry.
Oh boy, did someone?
Where was happening?
Someone put a bunch of oil on the pit road entry.
I was about to say. I mean, he wasn't even close to making it.
I don't think he got hit from anyone.
And here's a look at. Whoa!
Oh, he
whoa,
might have.
almost got hit by Jeff Wright.
I think that spooked him. I think that's what happened. He got scared by
man.
Wright and had to throttle up and then had no choice but to spin it out. Leader Jake Nichols just came in. Philip Groner's in hot. That is going to be dangerously close to a speeding penalty as well. As a matter of fact, he did get a speeding penalty.
Who, Philip Groner?
From the top 5 position. Yes, he did.
Oh, man. Pit Road is catching everyone out today. Let's take
So
a look
he
at
has
Groner.
He has a penalty. Rafe Slate and
Oh,
Alex
yeah, he came in
Bryson
there.
both have
Oh.
penalties, and he did not make it. So that takes him out of a top 5 position. This has been chaos so far. And we're not done. There's still a lot of people who need to pit.
Oh, here comes Travis Beckner and Alex Bell on down. Did they get down there without some drama? A little bit of a lockup from 15, but it looks like we got that woe down in time. Easy got us.
Kresick as well. And this will really cycle things out interestingly. At this point, Shane Abbey is come in as well. So this will be very, very interesting.
Majority of the field has come down to pit lane.
There's a real safe way to get on the pit road here from what I'm seeing. I mean, guys are having trouble just getting from the apron or from the racing line to the apron, and then not to mention
Well, hello.
they're getting run over from behind, and then some guys are worrying about that, and that's what we saw with the 98 at Slate. So very chaotic here for green flag pit stops early in the going, and if we see another round of green flag pit stops, this is really going to make things interesting because that's the second round and presumably the last pit stop of the race. But so far, finishing through the first 50 laps, we've gone caution-free.
Yeah, almost doesn't seem that way for long because it is getting dicey out there. And look at the speed differential. You got Matt Kemp, who's the leader of the race, just from staying out, fighting with James Kelly in second. Kelly coming on down, but pace differential is huge. Running almost 2 seconds off the pace compared to the drivers on fresh tires. And so they're blowing on by. That's usually where we end up seeing quite a few cautions come out. Drivers coming out there with new tires and this curb stomping the drivers who are stayed out. Speaking of which, Logan Clampett still out there. He has got, 13 more laps to make it if he wants to make this strategy work. I really don't like his odds for this working out.
Yeah, 12 to 13 more laps he's got to go. And we had another speeding penalty. Connor Kresick in the 14 had a penalty as well. So that's at least 4 or 5 people who have gotten penalties. Matt Kemp is going to bring it on the pit lane. So this should hand over the lead to Logan Clampett for the time being, and Zach Nichols is right behind him, and I am hearing the 44 also clutching and coasting, so might be a second driver trying to make this work. I really am skeptical about this strategy, but we've been skeptical about strategies all season, and me and Kyle have been wrong in the truck series in specific, so it's at least 2 drivers trying to make this work. Still waiting on, besides those 2, about 5 others, waiting on 5 others to come down and pit.
I'm just
Lot of moving
wondering.
pieces here.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Under.
I was going to say there's a lot of moving pieces with guys trying to save enough fuel, make it to the halfway mark so they can just go on one stop. And then guys that are pitting and flying through the field like John Furness. Once this all cycles through, he will be the leader, but I'm not sure if this race will go caution-free. I mean, it's been that way for the first 55 laps or so, but not sure if it'll be that way for the last half of this race.
Take a look at John Furness, the highest running of the drivers that have come down to pit. The entire top 7 yet to make their pit stop. I say that. Zach Nichols on down, so he's definitely going to have to make 2 stops. So this has not worked out for the 44. I guess he's just trying to maybe do the long run, maybe run a couple extra laps. Not quite sure what the strategy was for him, but we will see how it all plays out as he's going to come down and get service to his car. Logan Clampett's still out there. So as I mentioned, John Furness leading the charge, and he got Jeff Wright trailing in behind. Followed by Matthew Bell, Greg Mitchell, and looking where not Zach Nichols, where's Jake Nichols?
Too far down the order. I did see something that his stop was very, very slow for whatever reason. By the way, Connor Kresick never served his black flag, so he's been DQ'd from the race. So he is going to be in a hole, but something happened to the 73 we didn't even catch. He is well off where he was running.
And there's the pit stop time right there on the bottom of the screen. 29 seconds in his box. Not exactly sure what happened to him.
It's not enough to be a penalty.
Yeah, because that's close to 50 seconds.
Wondering if he had to recheck something in his black boxes, like recheck tires or fuel.
Maybe he had a small glitch where he didn't get service or something. Who knows? But that set him way back down the order, so he's out of contention for now as they run. going to need a caution to really get himself back in this. So that's changed up the order. So that's why John Furness is up there in the lead. Jeff Wright, Matthew Bell, Colin Fambro, Greg Mitchell out of the drivers out of pit. And then the top 4 are still remaining out on the track, just hoping and praying that a caution doesn't come out and that they can make it.
I think they wouldn't hate a yellow at around when they're going to pit, just so they can get back on the same strategy as everyone else, but we'll have to see. It looks like Brody Faliker, Justana Sogak, Alex Weaver are going to be the other drivers trying to make this work. I believe everyone else has been to the pit lane at least one time. And I said the fuel window was probably, or at least the max amount of fuel could go, was about 60 to 61 laps. So the driver's not saving. They got to be running on fumes at this point. For Logan Clampett, we'll just have to wait and see how far he really can stretch this. He still needs about 5 more laps.
Oh, he is coasting. Wow, that's a lot of throttle time.
Doing everything he can by any means necessary.
Really trying to stretch the fuel that he has in the tank of that car. And again, this is one of the things where I think if you started saving from the drop of the green flag, I think you might have been in a decent enough spot. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe you could surprise us. I always like a little bit of fuel mileage strategy into things, spices things up, than having to just sprint all the way out. But most of the field choosing to go with 2 stops, I figure it's just not worth trying to save the fuel, or that they're not going to be able to make it. Speaking of not being able to make it, Brody Faliker and Justin Sogak down on pit lane. So they've kind of had to throw in the towel for that. So they're going to have to come in at least 2 more times as John Furness quietly coasts through the first few corners.
Alex Weaver is also coasting when I saw, so 29, and you can see he's struggling with coasting. At least Clampett, he's able to hold the bottom while coasting. He's kind of used to it. I think Alex Weaver's kind of doing this on the fly, and you can see that by the way he drifts off the white line, not able to hold it because you lose the engine braking capability once you put the clutch in. You're not slowing the car down as easily because you don't have the engine braking when you have the clutch in. So you're carrying more speed, and if you're not used to that, you're going to miss the corner in the process.
He's a lap closer to reaching that halfway mark. Meanwhile, Braxton DeWeese and Garrett Grant going to swap positions as Grant tries to replicate the Larson line, if there is one, here at Texas. And Bryce Senesac just cruising on through in 13th.
Yeah, the whole strategy is kind of playing into one another. A lot of drivers on the fresher tires. Drivers that pit later, they're taking advantage of the fresh rubber and working on through. So there's Zach Carr working past Jeremy Miller, working towards the top of the order. And it looks like Logan Clampett, if he's on the way to making it here, he's going to continue around another circuit. So he'll be able to go 64 laps, and I would say that's pretty much in the window to make it. And I think he should be good for a second run at the way he's running. So this is going to be pretty interesting to see if he can pull this off. And of course, the big question is it worth saving all this fuel? He's got 10-second gap to John Furness. You know, and you're dealing with these older tires. We'll see if he stays out one more time around the racetrack.
Yeah, I think if he wants to keep this fuel strategy going well, he needs to get as many laps out of it possible, not just get to the number and okay, I'm fine now. Alex Weaver had to come in a lap earlier, or at least 2 laps earlier, so he'll drop down the order and have to save even more time. But as far as the time looks, it's not bad right now. He's got about 9 seconds to the 28 of John Furness, and he has 1 less pit stop that he's going to have to work with. So we'll see this time as Garrett Grant's looking for 14th on the 09 of Bryce Senesac. We're crossing halfway this time, and this is when Logan Clampett will bring it in. So he did make the number he needed, and he had about an 8-9 second gap to work with once pitting. So that makes me feel a little better, Hunter, about this strategy right now, but still a long way to go.
Long way to go, short time to get there. Watching them old bandits run, and that being the 28 of Furness leading those bandits. That being the 15 of Alex Bell, the 97 Zachary Carr, as well as the 2 of Mitchell, 6th, 7th, and 8th on the racetrack right there. But Furness almost a 4-second gap to Jeff Wright.
Yeah, this is kind of how the way things have played out. Furness with slightly fresher tires than the 48, and of course we know Jeff Wright, he lost some time. Remember, he was sideways. Was he sideways actually? Or no, he made contact with. or no, he almost made contact with someone else. Yeah, that entire pit sequence threw me off because almost everyone had issues of some sort.
And it's really messed up. And I wouldn't say messed up the order fully, but it's really widened things out of the front. John Furness is working with a 4-second lead over Jeff Wright, and Furness came in lap 46. The 48 came in on lap number 45, so he does have fresher tires. Or no, the 28 has fresher tires, or they pretty much have similar tires, so it's a very big gap as Travis is trying to get through the order here as well. He was one of the faster long-run cars, and he pit on lap number 50, so as far as top 5 runners go, he has some of the freshest tires, and is using that to his advantage right now.
Yeah, starting to slice and dice his way through the top 5 is the official flagman for the Hendry County Motorsports Park, and racing returns this Saturday, October 5th at the Hendry County Motorsports Park, so you guys can see Travis Beckner in the action as he waves the flag for 360 Top Gun Wing Sprints, Street Stocks, V8 Warriors, and more. Tickets are $15 for adults with discounted prices. For seniors, teens, and kids ages under 5 are free, so make sure you see Travis Beckner and racing at the southernmost dirt track in America, Hendry County Motorsports Park, off U.S. Highway 27 in Clewiston, Florida. Visit henryracing.com for more info. Beckner's up to 3rd now since that, and is in a prime position to talk to us after the race.
What a good ad read that was for him.
As he's getting the job done there, back up to 3rd place for him. A couple exchanges further down the order. A lot of drivers converging in on one another. Casey Lacatus starting to work through the middle part of the field. Bryce Senizak. And how about Zach Nichols still up on the charge? Came in pretty late in the pit sequence, remember, so he's got almost significantly fresher tires, sometimes almost 10 laps fresher tires than a lot of guys up ahead. So this is actually working out pretty well for him because he's going to be blitzing through the field.
I think he noticed he had a pace advantage over a lot of people in the field, but just pitting with everyone was not going to help that. So he figured, hey, let's get some fresher tires on this sequence and get in front of everyone, and try and get in front of everyone doing this. And he's doing a good job of that. He's doing a good job of that so far. He just got a position from Philip Groner, or at least a position on track, not for a position, as Groner is a lap down. He is chasing down Braxton DeWeese quite quickly at this point, 0.3 of a second faster last time by.
Yeah, the 44 still showing his speed, starting to flex his muscle a little bit more as he works his way inside the top 15. Philip Groner looking behind. Meanwhile, just in front of him down the road, the 30 of Jeremy Miller and the 51 of Matt Kemp. In the 51. He's blinking in and out, but this is for the 10th position on the racetrack.
Miller trying to find a way around him as competitor phases in and out of existence on the racetrack. That's always one of the harder passes to make. I think actually trying to give him a little bit of space down to make sure he doesn't actually get some net code.
Don't you hate when a driver battling phases in and out of existence? I do.
I always hate it because I do exactly what Jeremy Miller does. Just give him a little bit of space before you get annihilated by the netcode gods and get sent flying up in the air into the cash fence. So he's going to try to make do with what he has, trying to battle on for 10th. Here's Braxton DeWeese as he's gotten passed by Zach Nichols. Blaze McKinney next on the list for the 44. I haven't talked a whole lot about the 87. Had a fairly quiet night. Started in 12th, is running in 12th. Been as low as 30th. I think, was he one of the EOLs we had?
Yes.
So he's worked his way back up to where he started. So decent running for the 87. Still a long ways to go. Under half the race remaining. And now it's just a matter of drivers now actually kind of thinking about their next pit stop. They're halfway through their runs.
Yeah, probably 20-something laps away from when the sequence should start. So they're kind of aiming for that at this point, while we have 2 others trying to make that one-stop work, but currently not in the picture. So just focusing on who's got track position where. We will look at Logan Clampett, where he is on track. He's 24th. He's about 19.5 seconds behind 2-stop leader and race leader in general, John Furness, who still has 4 seconds over Jeff Wright, even further back to Beckner, who's trying to catch the 48. But obviously Clampett's going to be a little faster right now on fresh tires, but the question is, when will he have to start saving that fuel once again?
He's already starting it. He's already starting it.
That is
and I think what he realized, if he starts doing a little more now at the beginning of the run, he can not have to save as significantly towards the end. I think is what he's going to be trying to look at doing, because he was able to again save quite a lot more fuel than I thought he was going to have to. So he was able to pull off the 65 lap run pretty easily, and I didn't think he was going to be able to make it. So I think he should be in a slightly better position this second run, especially now that he's saving earlier.
Yeah, I think getting that extra lap out of it compared to the 29 it could end up helping big time. As we'll just have to see once everyone cycles out and gets their second stop done, see where he files out as the battle for fourth is on. Matthew Bell running the pink numbers, I would assume for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It is October. He's trying to battle off the 18 of Colin Fambro for that position. These are two drivers who need the points to go their way tonight. Matthew Bell came into tonight pretty close to the cut line, but 7 points below as a matter of fact, and he's having a good night. Colin Fambro is 39 back. He almost certainly needs a win in these last 2 weeks, but the problem for both these drivers is with John Furness leading, that takes away another spot, or at least solidifies another spot they can't get, because Furness only came into tonight 13 points to the good, so this would really solidify him in a good spot. Obviously, that's what wins do, but it would take a spot away from some deserving drivers for sure. Not that Furness isn't deserving. He's been one of the faster drivers, just had a tough time getting finishes, as Travis Beckner might be his best competition towards the end of this race, as he finally got second away from Jeff Wright.
Yeah, he finished the pass on the 48 of Jeff Wright. He's going to have a look to the inside, but to no avail, as that outside lane throughout the night has been the fastest lane to be in, the best lane to be in on corner exit. Looking at it right there, strong run Beckner gets on corner exit, sets him up for a good spot down the front stretch and into the turn. So Beckner about 4 seconds now behind race leader John Furness. This battle for fifth will not die, at least not yet. Zach Hart to the inside of Matthew Bell, going to try and, he won't clear him on corner exit, but the more they stay side by side, the more that opens the door for Alex Bell to swoop in and snag a spot or two.
Yeah, well, I think Alex Bell's in a similar position to Matthew Bell, and they're both they both pitted around the same time. Actually, no, sorry, scratch that. Alex Bell's got fresher tires by about 5 laps compared to Matthew Bell. This entire group has been catching up more and more. James Galloway, a bigger tire advantage for him. Same thing with Matt Kemp and Zach Nichols. So the leaders will sort of close in on one another with the tire strategy as far as when they came in. So a lot of these guys up here just holding on and trying to hang on for as long as they can till the next and final pit stop for most of these drivers tonight.
Still probably 10 to 20 laps away from that window opening for all these drivers, and these drivers like Zach Carr, like Alex Bell, who went a little bit longer, or even the guys who went even longer like Zach Nichols, they're probably even maybe 20 to 30 laps away from their pit stops, as we'll just have to wait and see what happens and who wants to do what, who tries to get track position with a short pit, and who tries to get the freshest tires possible, or even tries 2 tires under green, which usually doesn't work in the Xfinity Series cars, but you just never know what anyone's going to try. As one person who has not given up on the high line in 1 and 2 is Bronson Stafford. I think he's been running it all night since people started going up there. Seen a lot of drivers do it in 3 and 4. Stafford's battling for 20th, but he's one of the few I've seen actually ripping turns 1 and 2. I'm not sure how much it's working, but I can't help but, commend the effort for trying.
Doing anything he can just to make up time on the racetrack, as he runs 21st on the speedway. Meanwhile, Alex Bell still closing in on the 43 of Matthew Bell. Don't believe there's any relation between the two. Zachary Carr, don't believe there's any relation between him and Race Car. That's going to be, well, yeah, there's one more R in the name, so. He's fast, though. He's 5th on the racetrack, closing in on Colin Fambro, and behind them you got Greg Mitchell and Jeremy Miller still duking it out for the 11th position. Blaze McKinney, saw he had contact with David Weissart a little bit earlier in the race. He's still on the lead lap, fighting as well in the 13th position.
Yeah, Blaze McKinney trying to also get around Greg Mitchell. He's got fresher tires in the 2, and you can see that in the difference in grip in the middle of the corner. He's going to be able to sail around the number 2 machine and easily take 12th place. One more spot for him. Meanwhile, up ahead, James Scowley side by side with Alex Bell. And about to start fighting with Matthew Bell. Only Jacob Bell was in the mix of the trifecta of the Bells in the series.
He's watching at least, so he's at least part of that trifecta, but not on the racetrack tonight. And This is pretty fierce racing. Both Skyoli and Alex Bell, have fresher tires than Matthew Bell. It's just a race to see who can get by the 43 first. Skyoli was able to chase down the 15 and get him. Now he'll try to get past Matthew Bell before the 15 can. 15 is actually looking higher, but that way higher line for the most part has not been there. Skyoli a little bit quicker. He's going to get that 6th position away. Matt Kemp's going to be in this battle as well, as the 15 is going to have to look to the inside. At this point, it definitely looks to me that right rear damage is hurting Matthew Bell, especially on the long run, but still in a solid top 10 position, and Zach Nichols is not too far behind on even fresher tires.
Yeah, here comes Kemp to the outside of Alex Bell now, trying to snag the 8th position away as the 51 continues to close in on cars and pass him. Meanwhile, Zach Carr closed in on the bumper of Colin Fambrough, Jeff Wright as well. Got a nice run to the inside of the 18, going to set him up for a prime passing position into turn 3, with outside lane being the lane that it's become. Not sure if that's going to be enough for the 97. Although he might get 2 and 1 here, depending on his corner exit.
Whoa.
And back there with an abrupt move on the pit road.
Wow.
Is that scheduled for the 27?
That has to be scheduled. It's early for sure, but I think it is scheduled. I think he saw that gap from 4 seconds, Hunter, was not coming down. I think he figured he had to try something completely different to catch John Furness, and I think this is what his audible is.
I'll take a look and see how close that was coming into the pits, because
That was abrupt.
That was really. So here's a battle on behind him.
That was definitely an audible, the way it looked. The secondary car, I don't think, had any clue. They even hit for that 3-wide battle between Kemp, Matthew Bell, and a few others. Colin Fambrough just came on the pit road live from 4th, but you could tell, I don't think Zach was ready, but thankfully the 27 had a big enough gap. As you can see them beating and banging that 3-wide, but I don't think anyone got damage out of that.
And this does open the door for guys to come in and pit and be good to go the rest of the way fuel-wise. Tire-wise, it's going to be dicey with it at the very end, but now this is starting to play a little bit more into the favor of Logan Clamp, who's going to try and stay out and save as much as fuel as possible. But for now, Zach Carr continues to lead the race. Matthew Bell brings it down pit road.
Yeah, did we even note that the 28 came down? Because I missed it.
Which car?
John Furness, John Furness did come down.
I was have the camera on him for a little bit as he's getting his service. He's back out on the racetrack, quietly in and quietly out for the 28. He's good to go to the end of the race. It's a matter of when do the remainder drivers come on down. Got Skyoli, Wright, and Zach Carr. Zach Carr I can see sticking out a little bit longer. I think staying out worked out quite a bit for him. I think I just saw Skyoli in the background come on in. There he is, the number 7 on the pit lane. And I see
Jeremy Miller.
Yep, 609. There is Jeremy Miller in the background, as well as Bryce Senezak. So far, it's a little more tidy run down to pit lane this time through. I think the drivers learned from the mistakes on the first run.
Well, David Weissart just spun on pit entry. Good time.
Never mind.
And he has a speeding penalty. I think he might just call it a night.
I think he did. It looks like he escaped out of that. Take a look at what happened to Weishart. Just couldn't quite get the pit road. Runs down to pit road. Looked okay here, but I think just too fast. Tried to slow it down and locked her up into the grass, and around he went.
12 points below the cut line coming in tonight, Hunter. It's going to make it do or die at Talladega, it looks like.
That's not a position you want to be in, but that's the bet he's made. He'll have to lie in it next Thursday as Zach Carr makes a stop down pit road along with the 48 of Jeff Wright. Matt Kemp resumes control as leader of the race.
Take a look and see when these guys come out, because they're going to be coming on the same group more or less. Zach Carr trying to gas it up more, but Jeff Wright looks like he got the better run off of pit lane, so he will lead over the 97 as they head back out on the racetrack. And there's Alex Bell as well on the bottom. Looking at the leader staying out, it's Matt Kemp. We saw him stay out for quite a bit. And Zach Nichols, same boat as well. And Zach Nichols, he's got to be careful though, because can't stay out there too long. He's going to run out of laps. So again, he's got to pick that optimal point to come on down. But I think he might opt to just push those tires that he's got on the car as long as he can.
I think at this point, that's pretty much what he's hoping on, for sure. We'll have to see how that works out. It's going to be weird because he's not going to give himself a lot of laps to use those tires to his advantage. So I don't know how that's going to work out for the actual 44, but the fake 44, he's supposed to be the 90. He's cheating a little bit tonight, but Logan Clampett's in 6th. He's 2 seconds behind Jake Nichols, and He's got a decent gap, I suppose, to John Furness, who is still slated to cycle out to being the race leader. He's got about, I think, 16 seconds on the number 28 that he's going to have to try to manage in 35, 36 laps, all on top of trying to make it on a tank of gas here.
Very interesting there. Gonna need a yellow possibly to make this work, but the 44 of Zach Nichols, talking about the climb that he's had to make. He had a fast car in practice, won the pole, had the EOL though from the previous weekend of racing.
Turn 4.
Casey Lakatos around and damaged the rear of that car, and that changes everything.
That changes everything. That traps so many people a lap down. We'll get a Hendry County Motorsports Park instant replay, and it's Braxton DeWeese who just turns the 50 around.
Yeah, just ran into the back of him.
Oh man, Cedric Hunter.
Whoa, and quite a few
Bad
drivers.
place to be parked at.
Yeah, that was a really bad. I think maybe a difference on tires here, Hunter. I think DeWeese thought he'd have the bottom, then tried to go high at the last second, misjudged it.
Yeah, didn't know if he was trying to make a pit stop, Lakatos was, and it was just a little bit too late, or you might be right, Connor. It's just a difference in tires as the 50 was spinning in the middle of the racetrack.
Sergio, who was it that almost hit him?
Cedric Hunter was one of them. There was plenty others that came close.
Find where on earth Cedric Hunter is running.
6th position.
Oh, I'm on him right
now. He's actually one of the drivers that's going to benefit from this.
See the 13 spinning up ahead, trying to figure out where he is, and
That could make or break his race, because like I said, he had not pit, so this could really help his race. It really helps Logan Clampett. Because it kind of puts him on a good situation. He's in 5th. This kind of saves Jake Nichols, who had not come in the pit lane yet, as all these drivers who hadn't pit, like the 51-44, will all come to pit lane. We'll see what the drivers like Furness, Beckner, and Fambro do, because they're all lead lap. Yeah, they are coming in.
Yeah, they're all coming in. So this is going to work out well for Kemp, and he's too far back in points, so wins are just the main thing he's going for. Zach Nichols, he needs every good run that he can get. Logan Clampett as well, he really just going out there for wins, and Jake Nichols as well. Still don't know what happened to him under the green flag stop, but a blessing in disguise this caution was for the 73.
off they will go after getting service. So Matt Kemp will lead off of pit lane, followed by Zach Nichols, and then it'll be not Jake Nichols, Brody Folliker in the 42, then Jake Nichols in 4th, Clampett in 5th, Cedric Hunter, Justin Anasogak, Shane Abbey, Travis Beckner. Oh, and a little bit of 3-wide action there as he gets ahead of Alex Weaver and John Furness. Furness did not the ideal scenario for him. I'm sure he would have liked to have seen that have gone green because he would have been cycled out to be the leader, but now back in 12th. Colin Fambro, and I think everyone else is a lap down. I think Keith Lakatos got the free pass, or no, he's getting repairs to his car. Getting that damage fixed, so he's getting service, and then everyone else, a lot of cars, almost more than half the field is a lap down. They have to take the waiver.
Had Lakatos not been to yellow, this would have benefited him. He was running in around the 3rd position. We at the pit, so he has to damage. The damage to the rear bumper is a complete killer because it kills all sorts of speed and a lot in handling as well. So he did not want to be the yellow, and that's unfortunately what happened. As this is completely flipped the race on its head. You have Matt Kemp leading, who's had, lack of a better term, poor internet tonight, but he will be the control car on this restart. Zach Nichols, Brody Falliker. Zach Nichols needs a good night in the points. Brody Falliker certainly does as well. Falliker came into tonight, I believe, outside the top 20, but at least still in contention, I believe. But then you got the big heavy hitters that got a break in this as well, and Jake Nichols in 4th and Logan Clampett in 5th. So it's just really mixed things up. And then you have the guys who have dominated most of this race, Beckner and John Furness, now 10th and 11th. So there's a lot of drivers who have ran well to all night, Hunter, that kind of got blindsided by a bad yellow.
Yeah, this definitely helped those guys that had yet to make a pit stop, like you mentioned, Clampett, Jake Nichols. A lot of other guys, though, trapped a lap down, so that's not going to be good for them. Looking at Well, a lot of these guys are going to take wave around, so that's going to help them out, but they're not going to have the beneficiary of pitting, having fresher tires. I think Greg Mitchell got the lucky dog, so he was a part of the beneficiary to pit and take tires. But other than that, Matthew Bell was inside the top 10. Same with Jeff Wright, Zach Carr. Not going to be there. James Skywley, even Alex Bell. Those guys were having solid runs, but trapped a lap down, have to take the wave around, and they don't have the freshness on their tires, Finian. So it's going to be interesting for the next 30 laps and how this plays out. Basically, an even level playing field in the top 14 tire-wise.
Yeah, definitely going to be a big shake-up to the order for the final third of this race. But before we go back green, I want to thank Elite Entertainment. Add some life to the party this summer with Elite Entertainment, located in Boiling Springs, South Carolina. Elite Entertainment provides high-quality band production to entertain at any location, including karaoke, single, music bingo, and more. Visit Linktree.ee/Elite Entertainment LLC for all contact info. And also want to thank the High Banks Podcast. Just two blue-collar guys, Nick and Alex, talking about NASCAR more. Listen to episode 205 with Brad Slaughter. New episode with Jacob Bell out now, available on Spotify. You see majority of the lap-down cars working through the turns 1 and 2, trying to catch back up to the pace car. So we can get this race back going underway. It looks like they're pretty much racing, at least for half the field, as Matt Kemp, I think they're entering turn 3. There they are. And all the lap-down cars are going to line up on the bottom lane. It's going to be a very long bottom lane. So Matt Kemp, Zach Carr, Jake Nichols, Brody Follaker, Logan Clampett, your top 5. That is an interesting top 5. I would say maybe I would have predicted maybe 2 of these cars to be in the top 5 at this point in the race, but we shall see how it's going to play out when Space Car dives in.
It'll be interesting to see how aggressive Nichols and Clampett are here. Jake Nichols, I mean.
Pace car in. Field ready to go. We are back green, and Logan Clampett immediately making it 3 wide. I think another car also in the background as well, making it 3 wide. Almost question if he jumped the start. Maybe a penalty coming to him. We'll see as head up into turn 1.
I guess that's how aggressive he's going to be. Already going to get into the second position after starting 5th, as Jake Nichols could not get as aggressive of a restart. It was Beckner who made it 3 in the background to get by a few other drivers already, but a good restart by Matt Kemp kept him the race lead.
Yeah, Beckner working that third lane early on this restart, and him and Cedric Hunter almost made contact. Another car in the wall back there, but the 27 already trying to find an express lane to the front.
Utilizing those fresh tires to his advantage, working the outside. Justin Adesogak, I think he knows that he's a lot quicker than some of the guys that are found themselves now in the top 5, top 10. So he's wasting no time with these tires to get up near the front, try to catch Logan Clampett, Zach Nichols, and Jake Nichols. Those are what he feels are his real competitors. The really quick guys we know are fighting up there, and keep them from getting away.
Beckner had Jake Nichols. He had the run on the 42 and the 73, but Falliker kind of got him boxed in, so he's going to have to follow Jake Nichols through here. Jake almost got clear of Falliker, but he couldn't do it either, so they're going to get held up a little bit here while the lead battle is on. Logan Clampett's caught Matt Kemp, but he's going to have to work hard to pass him very quickly as the 44 and 73 are closing in.
Yeah, Zach Nichols hoping this battle can continue for some time as Kemp blinking in and out. Got to be distracting for Logan Clampett, who's trying to get the lead from him on the inside lane through 1 and 2. Kemp's going to fight back on that outside. Well, look out. Here comes the 44 of Nichols.
And Nichols closing in. He wants them to continue to battle. And Matt Kemp, he's been fairly quiet this race, but he's no slouch. Qualified in 6th, so he had a really good run here. And ran decent for majority of this race, but Logan Clampett, that is a tough cookie to really beat. And it looks like that Logan Clampett is going to make his way on through just barely, as Kemp's going to try to throw it back on the outside. Don't think he's got anything left in that Taco Bell machine, but here comes Zach Nichols now riding on the bottom, trying to catch back up.
Yeah, Zach Nichols wasn't able to really get to the lead battle before it already fizzled out. Matt Kemp, even with that internet's trying to fight back, but I don't know how much he'll be able to fight back with. He just dove to the inside of Logan Clampett to get back in position. This is going to be really tight to try to keep it to the left rear of the 90, but he's there, and it's a bold move, but he made it work as he blinks out. I don't know if the admins will have a word about it at this point in the race or not, but this is what Zach Nichols wants to see.
Zach Nichols has these 2 hooked. He's reeling them in. 2 car lengths back from the battle for the lead as Kemp's fighting on the inside, clamping on the outside, and Nichols just watching this unfold in front of him. If anything happens to these front two, Finian, Nichols is in the best spot in the house. He's in the catbird seat as the two in front of him continue to duke it out for the lead off 4.
And the big question is going to be, where is he going to be able to make a move? Clamp, it looks like he's just barely clear of the 51, but not quite exactly clear. I think Kemp's going to throw a run back to the inside. No, not quite there. He's somewhat there. He's trying to keep Clampett honest and make him give him that room.
I think Clampett has it now. I don't think we'll see if Kemp tries to throw it back to the inside. I think he's going to try to send it, but he won't get to the inside, and that's what Clampett wanted to see. Have the clean air, have his line into turn number 3, and hopefully for him, what he's hoping, he gets to pull away from Kemp, and they battle for second, as that battle is starting to heat up, as Zach Nichols is finally there. Jake Nichols, Travis Beckner not closing in quite yet to these top 3, but Logan Clampett keeps the lead.
Little choo-choo formation there through the first couple of turns there for Clampett, Kemp, and Nichols, as Zach Nichols now looking to find a way around the 51 and not let the 90 of Logan Clampett get too far out. Meanwhile, the 73, you see they're running in the second line in the back. Travis Beckner running on the bottom, all over the bumper of Jake Nichols for that 4th position. And Alex Weaver, haven't talked about him too much today as Zach Nichols looks to the inside of Kemp for second. Haven't talked about Weaver too much, but he's worked his way inside the top 10. He's made up 10 spots since the start of this race as Nichols clears Kemp off 2.
Solid job there done by Zach Nichols, and now he's going to set his sights. It's the 44 versus the 44. Who's the real imposter amongst the leaders?
We'll find out. I guess we'll find out. Of course, this is how it's going to end up in the last 23 laps of this one. Make it 22 laps, I believe, as I think Zach Nichols, I think he's got to get him now. He's got to push now. I don't think he's going to beat Logan Clampett on a long run pace or a longer run pace. It's not going to be that long of a run if we go green, but I think he's got to push now and try to pressure the 90/44 and do a mistake here. If you can't do that, it's going to be tough to beat him, whether or not you get a restart even.
3 car lengths separating the 90 and the 44 as Zach Nichols looks to reel in Logan Clampett, trying to find a way around him, see if he'll move his groove up to the outside lane. He'll just keep it on the bottom through 1 and 2. Kemp's still riding in 3rd, Nichols still riding in 4th, but Beckner closing in, and even Brody Falker closing in behind in the 42.
Leaders starting to bunch up towards one another. There's Travis Beckner sitting in 5th. An aggressive restart for the 27. Let's put him back up in the top 5. They're still trying to hold up Brody Falker, and Brody Falker, he took really good advantage of the way the caution fell in the track position. He's still up there in 6th. John Furness, we saw he was, I think, restarted back in around 11th, 12th place. He's up to 7th. He's probably just really wishing that caution never came down, because he probably could have been walking out of here potentially with a win, depending on how the strategy worked out between himself and Logan Clampett, but was leading everyone else that was pitting on the 2-tire strategy.
Yeah, I'd be fuming. I'd be seeing red if I was the 28 of Furness. I mean, he had a 4-second lead over the 27 before pit stops even started. I mean, he was well on his way to certainly being the driver to at least finish the best out of the 2-stop strategy, and we had no clue if Clampett's strategy would work or not. And that all gets thrown out of the window, and instead of being close to locking your way into the postseason before Talladega, now you're just trying to scramble to at least get a top 5 out of the day and have at least a decent points position before the random number generator that is Talladega. And it's even worse for the drivers who had to take the wave around. At least Furness did not have to take the wave around like Jeff Wright on back. Jeff Wright's only 14th on older tires, and none of these drivers back here can really compete. Wright 14th, he's just leading Zachary Carr. They are the leaders of the wave around battle at this point.
Battle for 5th still going on. Beckner on the outside, Falker on the inside, trying to take the spot away from the 27. They're going to duke it out door to door into 3. John Furness closing in as well. Brody Falker pinching Beckner a little bit higher through 3 and 4 as the 28 gets a good run on corner exit, but has nowhere to go and just watches the battle unfold in front of him.
Side by side up ahead of Furness, and he's going to have to try to figure out which lane he wants to pick. Does he want to go low and follow Falker on through? Does he think Beckner is going to win out in the long term? Now it's the 27. It might be a little bit too early for the outside lane to start working. See, he takes a couple laps on these tires to really kick it in. And he's continuing to fight up there, but that inside lane is still looking good at the moment. That being said, in 3 and 4, Looks like Falker is trying to lose out, and there goes Beckner on through. And now Furnace is going to try to have a crack at him for 6th.
Yeah, Furnace is going to try to follow through. It took Beckner a while to get past the 42, while Jake Nichols was able to get by pretty much on the restart, and that's turned into about 1 second between the two. As a matter of fact, Jake Nichols is on the outside of Matt Kemp for the 3rd position, as could tell Beckner hit the wall or Falliker did, but either way, the battle for 3rd is on. Here comes Jake Nichols.
Knocking on the door, knocking for 3rd from the 51 of Matt Kemp. Got tight there on corner X, so the 51 had to come up, but didn't get into the 73, so Nichols will clear the 51 of Kemp for 3rd. Now has his eyes set on Zach Nichols in the 44 and Logan Clampett in the 90, running a lane above what the two in front of him are doing. Gets a good run off too.
It's a matter of really seeing where Nichols can build up a run. He's going to be trying to run, I think, a different lane. See the 90 of Clampett setting off, and then 44 in the middle. Nichols looks like he's running high, but cuts down low a little bit. So these drivers starting to experiment here as we head into the final 15 laps of this race.
Beckner hit the wall a little bit. They're 3 wide for the 5th position in the turn number 1. Falliker, Beckner, and John Furnace, as Beckner had another moment in turn number 4 there. I think Falliker is going to lose out to John Furnace in the meantime, but he'll get a run at it too. I think Beckner's going to hold on to the spot as Falliker's going to shove Beckner down the back straightaway. Almost turned him down the back straightaway. Great save by the 27.
That's how big of a run the 42 have from running the Larson line all the way up into that 6th groove, I think. Oh, there we go! Furnace gets turned off turn 4. They're wrecking in front of the field. The caution's going to come out with 13 laps to go.
Oh, and for John Furnace.
Implications.
Oh, man, for John Furnace, it looked like it was going to be a really great day for him in the point of not a win, but now a severely damaged car after he heads off of turn 4. Let's see what happened here.
How quickly a day can go from great to horrific, and they got tight out of turn number 4. Yeah, kind of looks like neck code. I can't tell if they would have made contact or not, but either way, Furnace and Falliker came together, and that's all it took, as we'll see what the strategy is going to be as everyone comes down. As that all stemmed from Beckner getting the wall out of 4, kind of stacked this battle up.
Got into the corner of the 28. We'll see the admins roll on that. Falliker, his car is destroyed.
Ooh, Philip Groner. He's a lap down. Never mind what I say. Philip Groner, he's running.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like it's kind of suicide to stay out there on 20-lap old tires. To not come down and get fresh tires, so everyone's coming on down. Big question is, anyone tried 2?
I wouldn't mind seeing the 51 if Kemp tried to.
I think anyone who had to take the wave might have to try it.
Yeah, it looks like everyone's taking 4. Oh!
Zach Nichols.
Zach Nichols took 2. Interesting. That
He might have been the only one.
Yeah, I was going to say that might cost him because, ideally you want a couple people to take 2 tires.
Anna Sogak and Cedric.
I reckon Jeremy Miller just got turned on pit exit by the 88.
Boy, pit lane. Man. Endless drama.
It's safer at 180 miles an hour today, for the most part, than it is 45 miles an hour.
It was very crowded, 4 wide off of the exit, and
I've never seen that. Only Jeremy. I don't. The craziest things happen to him. I don't even know, but definitely no intent by the 88.
I think he was just distracted, checking his blind spot.
That's not who I wanted. Where is Cedric Hunter?
Cedric
Hunter.
Hunter.
I can't seem to find him in the field. I found him. This is his onboard. What happened?
I mean, it's a very tight pit exit. You go from a lot of lanes to this. You have to stay below the white line.
I mean, it used to be bigger, but of course they took out a majority of it to expand turns 1 and 2.
But I thought everything was bigger in Texas.
Except the apron in turns 1 and 2.
The apron in 1 and 2 got smaller. They had to read the fine print.
I wonder, is he going to be able to even keep his spot? I mean, that's definitely an unsafe pit exit.
I would assume so.
He's still back there. Yeah, he is. Tire's probably slightly more worn out, but he is back there.
And meanwhile, we'll see what happens with the 30. We'll focus, I guess, at the time being with the 44. I got to be certain Zach Nichols, Hunter, I'm sure he thought more people would try it. Instead, he is staring at a lot of 4-tire stops behind him, and this is going to be a very important restart to get away from Logan Clampett and then just hold on for dear life.
James Scaoli also took 2 tires. Jeremy Miller did also take 2 tires. I think they were the only 3. Everyone else took 4. And so I think, yeah, Zach Nichols, I think he's hoping that a couple others, and especially fighting with Clampett and Nickel, he's going to probably need those extra tires, but he does have the track position at the very least, and the laps are winding down. I think what he's going to be hoping for is we have quite a few cautions at the end of this race. And so by the time we get down to green-white checkered territory, the tires aren't going to matter as much.
Yeah, I guess the only thing you can really hope for is to get a flurry of yellows and limit the amount of green flag running. So, because I don't know how he's going to be able to hold off Clampett. That higher line on fresh tires we've seen does not come in until maybe 20-25 laps, and it was starting to come in at the front. So, but now at that point, I assume it's really not going to be existing up there, and it's going to be tough to make that anything happen on the outside. But I think 44 is going to have to maintain the outside line and pinch the 90 or pinch the other 44 of Clampett down to keep this win. I gotta say, I'm not surprised he took the top line. That's pretty much what I expected.
And real quick, before we go back, Green, sorry to cut you off, Hunter, just wanted to thank Rick's Hot Sauce. Head on over to rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. Try the Loxahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, or South Beach Heat. Follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series. Then see which driver will take home the $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie in the point standings. And also, head over to shop.iracing.com for the highest quality merchandise at low prices. Shop from over 100 selections of t-shirts, hats, champion brand clothing, and more area accessories. Easy to shop, quicker to ship, better to wear. Shop.arearacing.com. Sorry to cut you off there, Hunter. What do you have to say before we go back, Green?
I was just going to make an ad read with Rick's Hot Sauce and Cane's Overrated Chicken with the cane sauce carrying everything, but I digress.
Well, we'll see how it's going to be if Cane's will end up in victory lane.
Or Taco Bell.
Or Taco Bell. A lot of fast food chains up in the front. We'll see who will be up on top as Pace Car heads off for potentially the final time. Going to get the green here. 9 laps to go. Zach Nichols up there with 2 fresh tires. Everyone else around him on 4 back green. A great start from him. And Matt Kemp making some moves as well. And 51 going to also try to look to the outside for the lead. And at least for second place, the outside of Logan Clampett.
And he almost got clear of Logan Clampett, but just wasn't able to do so. But they are going to be side by side off of 2. That'll at least help Zach Nichols out a little bit here. But watch the grip difference here to turn number 3. A close to full throttle corner is you're really going to see the tire advantage show here for the Clampett machine out of turn number 4. They're sliding at the back. Zachary Carr is sliding. He's going to save it and lose a lot of track position as Zach Nichols blocks for the race lead.
Zach Carr had a moment off turn 4, and going to take a look at that real quick as they're still duking it out.
And here's what happened here. Got cut off by Greg Mitchell. Some contact, caught the apron, was sliding, and somehow was able to save it.
Crashing live. Alex Weaver just slammed the inside wall. Alex Bell is sliding. Greg Mitchell sliding. Caution's going to come out. John Furness has gotten totaled again. The 28 even more damage. And Justin Munsell.
Well, it looks like we had the big one occur.
Zach Nichols kept the lead through all that, notably.
Seemed like we did. That's what happens when we go to take a look at a replay for a second.
I saw the 29 sideways first. Oh, looks like the 29.
So the 29 and Greg Mitchell and Bell making contact after. So
John Furness. John Furness wrecked way further back.
Looked like the 29 came up on, who was that? Scioli in the 7 on corner exit?
Yes. So this is a top 10 position here that they were battling for.
Was it off the nose of Scioli, I wonder? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of squeezed him.
The wall, he came down, clipped the 84, and around he went. And didn't get clipped by anyone. Oh man! Oh. Absolutely destroyed the 29 Alex Weaver.
Yeah, the person I saw wreck in the back was not the 28. It was actually the 6 of Justin Munsell who wrecked behind that initial crash. So there was like 2 or 3 separate incidents. Shane Abbey is on pit road now.
There he is. Trying to see what happened to him.
That's probably the worst place for a wreck to happen is the backstretch here at Texas because you don't have as wide of a track as you do in the corners with the apron. It really gets really, really narrow here. Oh, so close to avoiding it.
And just got clipped there, and then
Oh, man.
carnage unfolding behind and to the inside of the apron.
And then we saw what Alex Bell and
Greg Mitchell
Greg
had a
Mitchell.
slide.
Yeah, they got it at the end.
Look in the
Just got
back.
a second piece of this. And he clipped each other right there, but they just went for lackadaisical spin. And then we'll take a look and see what happened to John Furness.
And also Justin Munsell, but these were two Furness and Munsell were separate. I don't know what happened to the six even further behind Furness.
Furness is
Crash
checking
happened.
up, and I think he tried to go low and then changed last second.
That's how quickly a night can unravel. As
Justin
we'll get the
Munsell.
final look at. Yeah, we'll take the final look at Munsell. I didn't see why he wrecked, but he actually got maybe the third worst damage out of this.
Oh, he went
Ow,
to slow
man.
down and got hit from behind by Garrett Grant. That's unfortunate. He saw
Yeah,
it
that's
checked up.
that's a tough situation because I'm sure Garrett Grant's thinking that he didn't need to check up that much because they're so far behind, but Justin Munsell obviously taking the cautious approach, which I would say is the correct approach, and Garrett Grant wasn't ready for it.
This works out perfectly for Zach Nichols. He was exactly hoping for this kind of scenario where a caution would come out, burn off those laps, and it's less laps that Logan Clampett has to try to chase him down and pass him.
Yeah, I don't know how much we were looking at the race lead there, Hunter, but it looked like Logan Clampett was getting ready to send it into turn number 3 to get by Zach Nichols. Saved by the bell or saved by the caution light, whichever way you want to look at it. That definitely benefits Zach Nichols big time here.
Saved by the carnage.
Saved by turn 2.
We'll see here what's going to happen. I imagine... Actually, I wonder who he's going to... I would think he's going to pick the inside. I mean, he's obviously lined up for the inside. Because I definitely don't think he wants to try to let Jake Nichols have a way on through. But I think he'd rather have Matt Kemp get on through and then have him duke it out with Logan Clampett and Jake Nichols, keep them at bay. So we'll bring Canes and Taco Bell working together.
Yeah, I don't know if they're teammates. Zach Nichols runs for Furness Racing, the 51 of Matt Kemp. I don't believe... Yeah, Matt Kemp is a Furness Racing, so they are teammates, actually, the 44 and the 51. So I was wondering if that was the case because Matt Kemp had such a good restart, he almost cleared Clampett last time, and that would make sense as to why that happened because they're timing it together. So in that sense, it does make sense to pick the inside where the 51 is, but I think even if they weren't teammates, like you were mentioning, Finian, I think that would have been the right call because you don't want to let Jake Nichols get the jump on you.
Oh boy. Well, they do say everything is bigger in Texas besides the apron through 1 and 2 and the backstretch, but I don't think there will be a restart as big as this, Finian. I think this one will go green to the end, and all depends on how Zach Nichols launches on this restart.
I was going to ask if you guys think it's going to go green to the end. I'm kind of in the middle. Part of me thinks yes, part of me thinks no.
I think if the wreck happens, it's right at the front.
Oh, yeah. And we have seen extremely aggressive restarts, and look who's sitting in 5th. That's Travis Beckner. And you might potentially see him want to make it 3 wide once more. We'll have to see as we get ready for what could be the final restart of the night. 3 laps to go for this race, 130 laps. It all comes down to this. Zach Nichols in control of the field. We'll see what he can do. Back away, they will go to green, and a great restart for both the 44 and the 51, exactly as Nichols planned. Matt Kemp trying to see if he can stir up some drama and have his teammate try to break off in the distance.
Whoa. Kemp got sideways. He's up the track a little bit. They're going to stay side by side out of the corner, so Zach Nichols is going to get a little bit of a gap. Watch Travis Beckner. If he has enough of a run, he'll go 3 wide. He took a peek, but the 51 shut him down.
And meanwhile, Kemp's going to try and hold on to second. Zach Nichols just breaking away from the rest of the field. Coming to see the white flag, Finian. One more time from Texas.
Crash in turn number 4. Case Lacatus, Shane Abbey, and Zachary Carr.
Well, we were so close. I mean, it was hundreds of feet away from the start-finish line from this race being over, but
what? That
No,
was
no,
the.
no,
that was-
We're coming in 2 laps ago there.
oh,
oh man, Lacatus took a huge hit there.
That happened.
well, never
really
mind
quickly.
then. 3 wide. Then they're they
Bumping
never
and banging, bumping and banging, and oh man, that 50 took a hard hit there. Clipped Zach Carr as well.
Well, I mean,
And
they
Shane
didn't even
Abbey just for good measure.
Shane Abbey nowhere to go. I mean, that's what happens on late race restarts. You just stop giving room, and that was totally the case there. I dare say Greg Mitchell didn't even know they're 3 wide because he's barely given room for 2 wide there, and they just hit, and finally crash. And I'm sure Zachary Carr is thankful for the win last week. He doesn't have to worry about Talladega and playoff points or anything like that. You see right here, Therian takes it 3 wide. Not too late, but definitely maybe Greg Mitchell wasn't ready for it, and just no room given for sure. And Bronson Stafford just waiting for it to happen, and he just couldn't do anything there, but pushed a 50 into the outside wall.
And well, we are back again here, and we're probably going to be lining up the same way because it's 44. Then, actually, for some reason, Garrett Grant scored at the leader. I think he retired. But it's Zach Nichols, Logan Clamp, and Matt Kemp. Then Travis Beckner, and Jake Nichols. So Nichols actually got pushed back 5th. Beckner up to 4th.
But I believe the lane decision will not change here.
Oh, no. You can see him; he's already lined up. He knows exactly where he wants to be.
Yeah, no doubt of what's going on here. But this is what we talked about when he took 2 tires. If that 10-lap run or so went fully green, he was in trouble. But he's gotten the yellows to go his way. Now it's a green-white checkered. He only needs to hold him off for 2 more laps. And with a teammate to restart with, it's a big advantage for Zach Nichols. And we were talking about it pre-race. This is exactly what he needed. Came in tonight 17 points back after missing Rockingham. This would completely shake up the playoff order if he could pull this one off. And he would not be the only driver below the cut line to get a victory, because actually coming into tonight, points-wise, Travis Beckner was still only 13th in points. So that would make it the 2nd driver below the cut line technically to win this season, although saying that Jeff Wright is 11th in points, his win came below the cut line, also did Scioli's, but they're in on points without wins right now as we get 2 laps to green.
Yeah, I just wanted to look and see how the points are doing for a lot of the drivers, because we've seen so many drivers up and down the order. And well, so looking at, we'll start, I guess, so James Scally, he's running pretty well. He's currently in 7th place, so he looks to be pretty much secure with being in the top 20. No need to worry. He's got that win. Travis Beckner, similar thing, as long as he finishes well, as I think Logan Clampa was just flashing out like crazy. So was Matt Kemp for good measure.
Can't have that.
Then looking at Jeff Wright, he is currently running in 10th. That's a decent run for him. Again, he has that win, just needs to stay in the top 20. Braxton Deweese, he's a little bit further back, but I think as long as he finishes, he's plus 71 to the cutoff, so I think that's looking more in his direction. Shane Terrian, it looks like he might be, it's in 16th, so that's kind of up in the air. Connor Kresick, he's going to be put down back into the order. He's finishing 32nd tonight, so he's going to lose a lot of points to the cutoff. John Furness also going to lose up points. He might actually drop outside the top 12. Greg Mitchell, I think, is near the back. Oh, no, he's actually in a midfield. Greg Mitchell, he's 14th.
And he and Therian were just in that 3-wide sandwich that went wrong. So big losses for O'Kresick and Furness looming right now, especially if we get a new winner. It's going to even hurt that even more, as Furness is pretty much out of this race in 28th. Alex Bell, he came into today 7 to the good. That yellow during green flag pit stops hurt him, but he's still running 12th. Matthew Bell in the 43, same thing. He's running 15th. Zach Nichols, the race leader. Alex Weaver benefited from that late yellow, but he was in that wreck, the second to last caution, and he's out of the race in 29th. He'll be in a must-win, certainly. Blaze McKinney has not really been lighting it up this Pro Series season, but he is running 11th with a chance to gain even more.
Yeah.
So this is a night he needs. And just looking further down inside the top 20, Jeremy Miller, is running 6th. I don't know how that happened.
Oh, wow.
He spun on Pidix.
I was looking lower down the order because I thought he got shuffled out and down. I didn't expect him to be as high as 6th. He's like just out of the field of the drivers we've been really looking at inside the top 5. And then, yeah, Justin Munsell, he's down out. He might be kind of out of it. He's pretty much going to be in a must-win. And then Colin Fambro, he is actually running well in 9th. So we're going to see the field closing a lot heading into next week, I think, is what is going to be guaranteed. That's going to make Talladega even more interesting than it already is going to be for a lot of these drivers.
And Talladega is going to be chaos regardless, but if we get a new winner here to tighten it up even more, all hell is going to break loose next week for sure. But we still got to restart. They still got to win the tournament here.
Let's see what will happen here. Pace car off and away. First attempt at a green-white checkered. Zach Nichols leading him down. Logan Clampett, Matt Kemp, Travis Beckner, Jake Nichols, your top 5. Here we go in the restart zone, and a great restart for Logan Clampett. I wonder if it might have been too good of a restart.
I'm not seeing a black flag. He had their number there, and that is not what Zach Nichols needed if he wanted to keep this win. Now the 90, or at least the 44 of Clampett has the advantage on the outside.
I can't believe it. I will be genuinely amazed if he's able to pull this off with such a good restart. Caught completely off guard. Zach Nichols on the bottom, but they are still side by side. They're looking to see if they can make it back to the white flag.
They're going to make it. White flag, 1 to go. They're bouncing off for the race lead. Clampett led that lap. Who will lead the final lap?
Here they go hard into turn 1. Nichols trying to keep it tucked on the bottom. Clampett trying to see if he can get the run off the corner, side by side for position.
Watch Matt Kemp. Where does he go? He's going to go 3 wide. No, he's going to push his teammate. Keep him side by side for the race win. Nichols on the bottom, Clampett on the top. Who's going to win it?
Let's see, off of turn 4. Here comes Nichols charging on the bottom. The push from behind from Clampett. And here we go across the line. It's going to be Nichols that will take it by a nose ahead of Logan Clampett with the help from Matt Kemp. And what a drive for the 44. And what a restart for the 90 of Logan Clampett. Almost got it there.
I thought for sure Clampett had it when he had the outside on the restart. You could not time a restart any better than he did there. But I was shocked. The 2 tires held off just well enough. And the push from Matt Kemp, a team win there. Matt Kemp could have gone 3 wide to get the win himself. He chose to push his teammate, and it paid off big time. Huge, huge win for the Canes Mobile.
Canes does reign superior, at least on the racetrack, but in the fast food game, that's for a different story. But you mentioned it, the push from Matt Kemp secure the playoff spot for the 44 Zach Nichols. Lost 9 spots after missing last week at Rockingham and was fast. He won the pole in his last start at Chicagoland, won the pole today, but had the EOL, had to start from the back, fight and claw his way to the front just to get in the opportunity to win this race, and had a few yellows fall his way and was able to get it done and puts the 44 in victory lane. And Finian, he can go into Talladega stress-free.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Before we go to interview, I just want to go over that restart because I was genuinely amazed at how close Clampett got it. That was a fantastic restart.
I wonder if he was looking at Matt Kemp as a reference and just got the absolute perfect timing, because we kind of saw the last 2 restarts. Kemp goes a little, maybe a touch earlier than Zach Nichols, and maybe Clampett was using that to his advantage to time it, and it just worked out perfect. I thought he had it won. I thought there was no chance on the inside being pinched down. Those 2 tires would hold on, but he just did good enough to get through the corners, and no contact either besides the front stretch, and that was just good racing. You can't time that any better.
You really can. And he did lead at the line as well, watching on board from Matt Kemp's point of view. Oh, I think you're right, because as soon as Matt Kemp went, Clampett went as well. Watch from up above.
Yeah.
Just look at the jump he gets.
And Beckner, and the big loser in that was Beckner. He was not prepared for that at all.
No.
Lost a full row. Kind of took him out of it. By the way, I saw in the top 10 on that restart was Justin Anasogak. He actually got 8th through all that. I noted him, he was last on the first run, and he recovered for a top 10, so really good recovery for the 88 as well. But there was a lot of drivers who had good recoveries today.
Yeah, and well, I hope you like Chevy Camaros because they filled out the entire top 10 there with Zach Nichols coming up on top, Logan Clampett just losing out by a nose. Same thing with Matt Kemp, who pushed his teammate to victory while finishing third. Then you got Jake Nichols in the 73 finishing off in fourth, Beckner fifth, Scowley, Miller, Anasogak, Fambro, and Jeff Wright running out top 10.
Yeah, Jeff Wright recovered well. Fambro 9th, Anasogak 8th, and obviously Jake Nichols, who had the pit mishap on the first round of stops, got back to 3rd, so good for him. McKinney, Alex Bell, I think, ran better than that, as did Matthew Bell, Therian Mitchell, then Cedric Hunter. Philip Groner, a rare outside top 10 finish, finished a 17th. Jake Nichols might have locked up the regular season title tonight, but we'll get the points noted after this, I'm sure. Bronson Stafford, Garrett Grant, Ed Robertson round out the top 20.
Braxton DeWeese 21st, Senesac 22nd, Zach Carr 23rd, Shane Abbey, Alexander Bryson. Then we got Weisart, Lakatos, John Furness had a solid night going until the late yellow he was involved in. Alex Weaver and Justin Munsell round out the top 30.
And moving on back to 31st, we got Brody Fallacker and again up unfortunately taking on a crash. Could have had a good night for him. Conor Krajcek, he was coming in tonight, had some decent pace, but mishap on pit lane. We're going to retire in 32nd and race late as well. Also issues on pit lane, put him back in 33rd. Gonna wrap up the running order here, and we'll get started talking to our 3rd place finisher, Matt Kemp, and got him in the booth. Matt, you got a copy?
Hey, I gotcha.
All right, well, you got to walk us through on how that finish went for you, because we saw you there. You pretty much seen for those last couple of restarts. You were glued to that 44 bumper and not looking away from it.
No, for sure. It was one of those teammate deals. It was, on the backstretch, I thought about jumping out and making it 3 down into 3, but I didn't. With the shallow entry, I was like, I don't know. With the way this has been going tonight, I think I'd have had to back out and was trying to guarantee a Furnace Racing car won a race. So I don't know. I'll probably look back and kick myself for that one, but Zach owes me one next week.
And that was kind of part of it. Was it a plan that you were going to constantly push him back, or if there was the opportunity, were you going to plan on going out of line and trying to make a move on the 44 Nichols?
No, I entered into turn 1 a little bit wider, trying to get that run off. I just didn't have quite as big of a run as I was hoping to have. A little bit bigger run, and I jump out, no question. It was just like, I don't know. It felt like I was just barely going to get to his bumper by the time I lost momentum, so I was like, I don't know, I guess I'll just push. So glad it worked out for Furnace Racing, and glad we could get a top 3 out of it.
All right, well, Matt, thanks for talking to us. It's a really solid run for you. Started in 6th, finished in 3rd. Great run for you, Texas. Best of luck to you at Talladega next week.
No, I appreciate it, guys. After the last few weeks, they've been kind of embarrassing. Road course, I couldn't stay on the track, and 2 weeks ago, I think I wrecked 2 people, and then I don't even remember what happened. Oh, I sped on pit road last week, so I've been in shambles lately, so it's good to have a good run. Thank you, guys.
All right, no problem. We'll let you go, Matt. Thanks for talking to us.
Appreciate you guys.
All right, with that, doesn't look like we have Logan Clampett waiting in the wings, so we'll take a chance. We'll talk with our race winner, Zach Nichols. And we got Zach in the booth. Zach, well, your teammate, he told us in his interview, he said you owe him one for next week, and I would say from the broadcast booth, you probably do owe him one because he definitely helped you out there at the end. What a final restart. Walk us through how that went.
Oh, yeah, I definitely owe him one. I'll be pushing him at Talladega next week. So, we put around pole, and then unfortunately, with the last couple of weeks, we had a penalty to where we had to start in the rear, and we were actually making a lot of hay, and we got towards the top 10. I think almost before that first fuel run, and then we got up into the top, I think 7, and during that second one, and then the caution came out. So we had some speed, and I was glad that we made that 2-tire call at the end to get in front of Logan.
Yeah, that was the thing. That final restart, I'm sure you probably weren't expecting Clampett to get anywhere near as good of a restart as he did. And what was your game plan from that point on?
Just to race as hard as I could without wrecking us. And I was surprised that he got such a good one. If not, I was actually really surprised he didn't get a black, because I thought he went before me, but I guess he didn't. But my goal was just race him as hard as possible, and that's what we did. And yeah, Matt helped us a lot on that, coming off turn 2 on that last lap, and I can't thank him enough.
All right, well, Zach, it was a solid win for you in the 44 machine. You quite literally doesn't show it on the official scoring because it shows you started in first, finished in first. You essentially started from the back and drove it up to first, so fantastic run for you here at Texas.
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to thank Raising Canes. They're the sponsor on this car, and my teammates at Furnace Racing, and you guys for broadcasting, and all the league admins for putting this whole deal on.
All right, Zach, I'll let you go. Thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, and with that, it looks like that's going to wrap up interviews here from Texas. Guys, fantastic race. All in all, got a little bit of everything. Got some fuel mileage, got some long green flag runs, and a couple short runs near the end to spice things up quite a bit more than a lot of the other drivers out there were trying to do, but just some fantastic racing all around.
And a lot of playoff implications, not only Zach Nichols winning to get from outside to inside the cut line for good, but a lot of people who were in or looking to be in are going to be outside the cut line come Talladega. Connor Okrezik stays, or at least unofficially stays 2 points in over Matthew Bell. John Furness is 3 points out, and it could have been him locked in if things just went his way, but unfortunately they didn't. Blaze McKinney is 15th in points, but he's 20 points back. There's going to be a lot of drivers who are going to be needing a win at Talladega, even drivers like Casey Lakatos, Brody Fallick, or Alex Bryson. Pretty much everyone from that 10th to 25th range in points hunter, they're still alive, but they need to get to the front at Dega.
Yeah, it's must win for a lot of these guys, even outside the top 20, and just fighting for pride at the end of it. But John Furness lost 6 spots after that finish at Texas, and Zach Nichols gained 6 spots and with the win locks himself into the playoffs. So he can go into Talladega stress-free, but not so much for Jeremy Miller. He is inside the top 20, but needs a win. Same with Weishart, even Blaze McKinney. Looking at Fambro, Weaver, Justana Sogak moves into the top 20. Munsel's out the top 20. Garrett Grant's a spot behind in 22nd. 23rd, Lakatos. 24th, Brody Falliker. I mean, these guys, Finian, next week, if they win, their whole season changes, and the trajectory of their career changes as well.
Yeah, absolutely it does. It's going to be absolutely intense. The playoff picture is absolutely tight in here for the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series, and it is all going to come down to Texas. So a lot's going to be in the line, a lot's going to happen, and throwing Texas as that final race for the regular season is going to definitely throw a wrench into things for a lot of drivers. So stay tuned to that, as not only this series, but all 3 of the Area Series, the Cup Series trucks, and the Pro Series will all head to Talladega for the final race of the regular season for all series. That's going to be fantastic to watch, but for now, we're going to be wrapping up things here at Texas. My name is Finny Kuna here with Connor Horn and Hunter Sleppy. I want to thank you guys so much for watching and having a good night.